weapons and big play capability.
We're just about set for the Toronto Argonauts and the Montreal Alouettes. Montreal's president, Larry Smith, in a real coup, has got the Montreal Symphony Orchestra. There you have a look at the Montreal Symphony to play the national anthem here today. Conductor Kent Nagano will make his debut. Our Canadian national anthem with the Montreal Symphony when we come back to Olympic Stadium. Back live at Montreal's Olympic Stadium when the Alouettes extend Molson Stadium and they add the extra seats. The president, Larry Smith, told me yesterday he wants a symphony in the park in conjunction with the football games. In other words, the Alouettes want to combine culture and sport. Having said that, today he has invited the Montreal Symphony, 95 members, under the direction of conductor Kent Nagano, to play our national anthem.
The Montreal Symphony brings its haute couture to the physical culture of pro football this afternoon in Montreal. The playoff race in the East has come to this, the crossroads. Today in front of a monster crowd at the Big O, it's Montreal and Toronto for a stranglehold on first place in the East Division. And as rivalries go, this has become one of the best in Canadian football. Good afternoon and welcome to the CFL on CBC. I'm Mark Lee along with the big man Chris Walby. Chris, the Argos do not want to have to come back to this stadium for the East Final, so a win for them today is vital. They go as Damon Allen goes, and right now at 42, he's playing some of the best football of his career.
Well, that's the line. 42 years old, the biggest 21 years of league. I mean, like a fine wine, he just gets better and better with age. Now remember, here's a guy that has got broken ribs, broken shoulder bones. Last year, broke his leg, and yet he comes back last week against Winnipeg, 484 yards, his best game as an Argo. I'd love to see Damon Allen play well, but he's going to have to move out of that pocket and bring back some of the old memories of Damon Allen running on the football field today.
His counter
heart in Montreal, Anthony Calvillo, winning widespread admiration for his dramatic last-second come-from-behind win last week against BC. He's consistently in peak form.
Well, the biggest thing I like about Anthony is he doesn't let anybody else get to him. And what do you mean by that? Well, the fact is he's always got this knock that he can't win the big game. Did a great job against BC last week. 6th play, 75-yard drive, wins the football game. But the biggest thing, he's done it all. He's won the cup. He's already won the most outstanding player, but he is the man that has to be on all cylinders today. And remember, against Toronto, he has not thrown a touchdown pass against these Argo defense this year.
All right, sir, time to look into your crystal ball. I hear you're cooking with Spam today, your Gillette game notes.
Oh, I love it. It's cooking, but it's not. It's baking with Bam. And that's Baker, that's Bruce, Allen, Millington, and Miles. They're big on offense. On defense, you know what? No run for first place. They've gave up 176 yards to Charles Roberts. You can't let Edwards have that kind of success if you want first place in the victory today. On the other side for Montreal, offensively, hey, it's simple. AC is the spark plug. He is the engine that drives the Montreal offense. This team, as a matter of fact. And on defense, you must dump and disguise Damon. You know what? Dump him on his backside and disguise your defenses. Make Damon hold on to the football.
Today, a crowd of more than 50,000 fans anticipated here at the Big O. The winner today will stake a claim to first place in the East Division. And Pinball Clemens admitting to us yesterday, the noise is a concern to the Argos early. It's the first time this year his offense will use a silent snap count. Don Matthews' Alouettes are the hottest team in the CFL, riding the crest of a 4-game winning streak. It all began after that 27-26 loss at BC. But Matthews saying this week, this is a different scenario for us, chasing teams instead of having them chase us. Damon Duval kicks it off. The battle for first at the Big O. And it's Arlen Bruce III to return the kickoff for the Argos. And he's chipped as he crosses the 25. It's a 20-yard return for Arlen Bruce. As Chris mentioned, Damon Allen coming off his best game last week as an Argonaut quarterback, nearly 500 yards passing against Winnipeg, 2 touchdowns and not an interception. Telling us he keeps coming back at the age of 42 because of what he hears from his opponents, Chris. He still gets respect. He says, hey, they're still spying me, putting a man on me at 42. That tells me I can still play in the CFL. It's a 5-receiver set. R.J. Soward in his first start since 3 games is a healthy scratch. Allen rolling to the wide side. He finds Robert Baker wide open, and he's forced out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Here's the Toronto offense.
Well, I tell you, we talked about Allen, but Millington is the man replacing John Avery. Watch for a big game from him. Arlen Bruce, 10 touchdowns already this year. A great receiving crew and a good offensive line anchored by Chad Folk, the veteran in the middle at center.
The Argos with a chance to have 3 receivers, each with over 1,000 yards receiving this season for the first time since 1997 when Doug Flutie was at the controls for Toronto. 2nd and 2. Allen facing the blitz from Montreal. Lots of time, good protection. Now he bails, throws to the far sideline, and it's complete to R.J. Soward, taking the place of John Avery on the roster today. Here's the Montreal starting defense.
Well, nice job of Soward, but this defense has got his work cut out. And of course, Rob Brown, the sack specialist, back at that defensive tackle position today for the defensive line. The linebacker, it's a good crew, boy. Johnson in the middle, 44. He is the inspirational leader of that defense. And what can you say about Carey? Carey, a free safety with 9 interceptions already this season.
Mark Word, one of the new faces in this Montreal defense, which has been a work in progress this year. One of the bigger bodies on that D-line that Don Matthews has switched to from the quicker, faster defense. Allen throwing again. It's complete to Tony Miles. And a first down.
Yeah, nice job of just getting protection. You talked about the bigger defensive line. You know what, as an offensive lineman, you like going against the bigger guys because they're easier to stand in front of. There's more body mass to try and protect against. Not as quick as the Mark Magnus who used to be on that line, but good protection by the offensive line. And Tony Miles, I like the way you're putting your body in front of the defender, coming up with that catch.
Tony Miles with 15 yards there, just 20 away from 1,000 for the season. Play action now. The fake to Millington. Allen rolling. Now he'll run. Stays on his feet. And just steps out of bounds in front of Ricky Bell right at the first down marker. Still with those cat-like moves at 42.
Well, not as quick as he once was, but as effective as ever. The fact is he gets outside, play action to Millington, buys some extra time. Rob Brown's going to get in a foot race with him. Damon Allen, a little stutter step to kind of freeze him. Gets to the outside, little stutter step again to pick up the first down. Just a nice job of utilizing. We talked about this, Damon Allen. We know he can throw the football, but he always was a threat to run.
Yeah, and he was saying yesterday, everybody labeled me as a running quarterback. In college, I passed out of the pocket. I can do both. And teaming with Kent Austin this year, he has been sharp, reading defenses. This time they hand off to Millington. He's got a big hole, and the diesel rumbles up the middle. Sean Millington, the featured back for the Argos today in place of the injured John Avery.
Sean Millington is a house. I know he likes the nickname Diesel, but he's really a house. I mean, you got to figure 37 years old, out of football for 2 years. Great job at the point of attack of that left side of the offensive line. Jude St. John, Bernard Williams creating a hole. And you don't need much of a hole, because if there isn't one, Sean Millington's going to make one.
Millington retiring in 2002 in the top of his game. 740 yards and 14 touchdowns that year. Passing down, 2nd and 3. Allen with lots of time. It's incomplete, intended for Robert Baker. Ricky Bell all over the Argo receiver to break it up. Bell in his second start since coming in a trade from Winnipeg.
Well, they like Ricky Bell. He's got the nickname Shutdown. He shuts down the receivers. A lot of time for Damon Allen to try to find the receiver. You see Robert Baker kind of sitting there. He doesn't feel Ricky Bell behind him. He sits and doesn't come back to the football. Ricky Bell reacts. It's a nice job of timing that to knock the ball down.
The first incomplete pass in the opening series for Damon Allen as he goes to the sideline. And Noel Prefontaine will attempt this field goal. The ball spotted at the 50-yard line. That's the longest he's kicked a field goal this season, Chris. Dead center in a dome stadium.
Montreal.
And the Alouettes have called a timeout as Andre Proulx, the referee this afternoon, makes the call.
Well, Prefontaine on a bit of a roll right now for 4 for 4 last week against Winnipeg. In the 2 games against Montreal, for all you stat freaks out there, he was 3 for 3.
Unshakable confidence as Don Matthews plays the first head game of the football contest, calling a timeout to make the veteran think about it. Play whistled in. Prefontaine from the 50. The lefty hits the ball hard, wide right. Ezra Landry, dangerous, still on his feet at the 10, and he can't get away. Real Johnson, the tackle, and tough field position for Montreal when they come on offense when we come back.
The CFL on CBC, brought to you by Rogers Wireless. Music phones, music features, live out loud. And by Future Shop. The big game deserves a big screen. Get it at Future Shop.
Back in Montreal, the Alouettes set to go on offense, and Anthony Calvillo, their quarterback, answering his critics last week, people who say he can't perform in the big games. The final 41.6 seconds against BC, he moved his football team 75 yards, capping it with an exciting 20-yard touchdown pass to Dave Stala and the win. And he won't get away on first down as Michael Fletcher has the first sack of the football game.
Well, Michael Fletcher's going to come on the blitz, but great coverage downfield. Chuck Winters, who lines up in that place where Antonio's Bonner used to be, will take the flat. Calvillo has to pull the ball down. He can't deliver the football, and as a result, that allows Fletcher to get in there with the sack on the opening play, and that's exactly what you want out of your defense. What a way to start a ball game.
Calvillo prolific this year. 6 times he's passed for more than 400 yards, but the Argo secondary has given him fits. He's in trouble in his own end zone, and they sack him a second time for a safety. And it's Jonathan Brown with his 11th sack of the season.
And, you know, Anthony Cavill is a guy who likes to deliver the ball. His big forte is pre-snap read. Gets the read, delivers the football quickly. What's happening right now is he can't figure out where to throw the football. You see him look at the left, and he looks to the right, then the pressure's there. Well, that time it's too late. He tries to outrun, but he can't outrun Jonathan Brown with his 11th quarterback sack of the season.
So 2 plays and 2 sacks against Calvillo, and a safety to start this football game.
Yeah, you talked about Stubler and the way he likes to play this very difficult zone match coverage, which they can kind of cheat to certain sides, and it looks like there's nobody there, only one man there. Basically, they're trying to put an extra defender. So if they have 2 receivers on one side, they'll try and put 3 to that side.
Stubler was telling me before the game today that any team that tries to play man in the CFL is going to give up 40 points a game. But he said we play a different version of match defense, and what is most difficult for opposing quarterbacks is to find out who's playing safety, because they change that position. Very confusing, even for a veteran like Anthony Calvillo.
And that's the first thing the quarterback's always looking is where is the safety and who is the safety.
So Duval will kick it off after Montreal gave up the safety. And it's Bruce at the 20, heading to the far sideline, still on his feet, down the sideline, twisting and turning, and finally pushed out of touch. A 35-yard kickoff return to midfield for the Argos, and there's some heated discussion going on at the Alouette bench as both sides mingle. Right now, let's go down to the sidelines and welcome Steve Armitage. Steve?
Turf here in the Big O is ancient by today's standards. It is second generation AstroTurf, not field turf. Earlier this week, they had some teams in here trying to tighten up the seams. As you can see, they didn't do a very good job. Any running back or receiver who gets a cleat or spike caught in that could be in serious trouble. No matter who plays here today, they're going to come off this surface, which is hard and very fast, with sore knees and sore backs.
Right you are, Steve. It's a fast track, but it's an unforgiving surface, rock hard for the athletes here today. In the shotgun, Damon Allen. Across the middle, wide open is Arlen Bruce in a foot race now with Dwayne Butler. He'll turn the corner and have a big first down for Toronto. Arlen Bruce III, who this week said he'd like to play in the NBA. And he says, it's not no gimmick, I'm serious.
I think he just wants to get through this football game first. We'll worry about his NBA aspirations at another time. But just an underroute, just gets underneath the linebackers to see Dwayne Butler there. And you know what? You gotta like the way that he does things after he catches the football. He's always hard to bring. You better hustle on defense for the Alouettes to bring him down.
The Argos leading receiver with a 19-yard pickup and a first down Toronto. Allen sitting in the pocket, throwing deep downfield, foot race. And it's incomplete, intended for Tony Miles as Allen is helped up off the carpet.
But initially exactly what you want. They got initial protection. The pressure comes after. You see the big man up top. There's Clay Brooks and Mark Ward coming in, and they're trying to put some pressure on Damon Allen, but if he delivers that football, it's a touchdown because Tony Miles had the coverage beat.
Mark Ward back in the CFL after 3 seasons with the Cleveland Browns in the NFL. One of the big bodies that Don Matthews has put at that end position to try to give the tackles fits inside and out. Crowd real noisy here. 2nd and 10. Here comes the Montreal blitz. Allen in the pocket, throws. It's complete to Robert Baker, and he'll turn it upfield for a Toronto first down to silence this big crowd in Montreal.
And Damon is doing a wonderful job of delivering the football where exactly it has to be. And by that I mean when the receiver is running across your route and you see Baker's going to come across the middle of your screen, and then he breaks it out. Now, the nice thing is it's put away where only Baker has an opportunity to catch that ball, and that puts Durden in a bad situation where he's got to make the tackle, because this is a tough guy after he catches the football.
And there's an injured Alouette on the play. It appears to be Reggie Durden after the tackle to Robert Baker. We'll take a timeout here in Montreal with the Argos threatening. Reggie Durden remains prone on the field here at the Big O after injuring himself in the tackle on Robert Baker.
Well, it's a situation just as he tries to bring him down. Baker lands hard on him, right on the chest, and rolls over him. And initial indication, you'd think that maybe he just got the wind knocked out of him. He kind of tried to get up, and he went back down. You see him right there. It's just a situation, I think, where he just wants to gather himself a little bit.
Is that an example of the hard turf?
Well, the interesting thing about this turf, Mark, is yeah, there are seams here. But the thing is, as well, these guys aren't wearing cleats out here. Most of them are wearing running shoes with a very flat surface, and you get good traction. So you're really not going to catch a seam too often. But yes, as far as the turf being unforgiving, absolutely. It's just like playing on a concrete driveway with green spray paint.
Oh, that sounds fun. Well, that's got to be a relief to Don Matthews as Durden makes his way up under his own steam, and the rookie, Matthew Prue, out of Laval, is into the game now for Durden. The Alouette defense already missing Timothy Strickland, the quarterback of their defense, after he injured his groin last week against BC.
And they are very fortunate. They did get Ricky Bell in the lineup last week, so they didn't have to force him in his first game today.
Look at the disparity in offensive yards early in this football game. First down, Toronto. Allen facing a four-man rush with time, goes to the wide side. Andre Talbot is caught short of the first down. His first catch of the football game, coming off a season-high 122 yards and 5 catches against Winnipeg last week.
You know, and one of the things that happens is, you know, when you have a wide receiver and he's not in your offensive game plan, a lot of teams won't even respect him anymore. But Andre Talbot this year has become a weapon, and I use that term affectionately because he is catching footballs. We talked about his game last week in Winnipeg. He's making plays, and he's getting respect by the cover guys because they're giving him some cushion.
Well, they've moved Richard Karikari to halfback, at Prue at safety. You go at somebody like him out of position. 2nd and 5. Allen throwing a corner to the end zone intended for Miles, and it's incomplete. And once again, Miles overthrown.
Now this is a scenario, though, that Miles kind of loses a football. You're just running on the corner route, and as he kind of stutter steps, he tries to find the football. And the fact that he slows down and looks for the football, that was the factor that did not allow him to come underneath or run underneath that football.
Tony Miles looking for his first touchdown in 5 games, and another field goal attempt for Noel Prefontaine, already 0 for 1 after a long attempt from 50. This a chip shot for him, left hash marks 25-yard line, and it's good. So the Argos with lots of offense early in this football game, but a slim lead. Back in Montreal, Eric England wearing a microphone this afternoon, and here's our first installment of Mic'd Up.
All day long, look after each other. Get him a sack, get a sack, get a sack. Everybody gets one today, okay? Work together, and they can't beat you.
Here we go, baby. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. That's what I need. That's what I need. That's what I need. That's what I need. That's what I need.
So a revealing glimpse inside the world of defensive football. Thomas Menas, the defensive line coach, and Eric England stoking themselves up, and they open the game, Chris, with 2 quarterback sacks.
Well, you can't script defensive a scheme any better than that when you open up like that. And of course, you get a safety as well, chasing Anthony Cavill in the back of the end zone, bringing him down. I mean, you got to wonder what's going on in number 13's head as well. He wants to get things straightened out, and that's not the way he wanted to start offensively. So he's going to try and put something together right now, a little bit more of a ball control just to get some momentum.
Calvillo back to work in offense after that ill-fated first series. He needs just 23 yards for 5,000. It would be the 4th consecutive season he's done that passing. Only Doug Flutie's done that in the CFL. Double tight formation, more protection this time for the quarterback, and he throws it to the sidelines. And the ironclad guarantee when it comes to pass receiving, Ben Cahoon.
Well, Ben Cahoon does it, but of course on offense we talked about what a year Robert Edwards is having at the running back. 6 100-yard games. Watkins, 2nd in the CFL in receiving, and absolutely will get number 1 today with Tucker not playing, and Lambert playing at the center position in place of Brian Chu. Everything on that offensive line.
The gain is 12, a first down for Montreal. They go on the ground, and Robert Edwards tripped up and down right at the line of scrimmage.
Robert Edwards just tripped up himself. He just caught his foot in the AstroTurf and fell down trying to make a cut. He was looking to go back to the right side. Just loses his footing, takes it off, and as he tries to go back, his foot slips.
Edwards coming into this football game with a 6.7-yard average per carry. Best among starting running backs in the CFL. Empty backfield. Calvillo throwing again. It's complete to Ben Cahoon. So the veteran quarterback going to his favorite target to settle down this Montreal offense.
Well, they're spreading the defense. The Argonauts defensive line, what a start. Jonathan Brown, 10 quarterback sacks at that end position. Mike O'Shea, he's been there forever, it seems, and he still gets the job done for the middle linebacker. And boy, one of the hardest hitters that the secondary has to offer is Kenny Wheaton, number 30.
First down, midfield, Montreal. Crowd quiet so Calvillo can get the cadence off. Play action, faking a backside pass, and the play is whistled dead as an incompletion. Now the ball didn't cross the line of scrimmage. Is that a grounding ball?
Well, I think the fact is they're looking at the fact that it was the throwing motion. That's the big thing right now. And you see he was trying to run a screen pass to the left and absolutely no back over there. And that's why he tries to pull back. It's not that he lost control of the football, but the back did not go over there. And the only thing he had in front of him to throw at were offensive linemen.
And that's not so good. 2nd and 10. 4 receivers to the wide side. That's where Calvillo looks and fires hard. It's intercepted. Clifford Ivory, a diving catch for the Argo defense. And that's his 2nd interception of the season. Fans booing the call. They thought it skipped off the turf. Clifford Ivory credited with the interception, but did he make the catch? There's some question, Chris.
Well, I think we got a great shot of it, and I think everyone will see as we slow this down as he makes the ball. Now he's trying to bring it up. Now watch the ball hit the turf. And just the fact the ball hits the turf right there, that's not an interception. They missed that one. Bad call against the Alouettes.
First down, Toronto at their 43. It's Millington. Backside handoff, and the Diesel stomps his way to a first down and a late flag.
There might be a tack on of additional yards for face masking. And, you know, Millington is not the fastest guy in the world. He'll tell you that. But he is so powerful. He doesn't look like he's moving that quick, but watch him. He makes a nice move. What a great job of breaking back. Lowers it. You can see as he's tackled around the head, they're going to tack on some additional yardage.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Montreal number 1. 15-yard penalty. First down.
They're going to call unnecessary roughness on Carey as he brought down Sean Millington.
So the 37-year-old who has come back from retirement and will carry the load on the ground for the Argos today with a big first down, 14 yards up the middle. Add on the penalty in the Argos now with great field position. Damon Allen steps up, fires complete to Andre Talbot. First down territory and more. This Montreal secondary is prone to giving up huge passing numbers.
Well, the Argonauts, give them credit right here because they're taking their wide receivers and sending them deep downfield, and that's pulling the defense vertically. That allows the zone coverage to be spread out. Andre Talbot takes advantage of that, finds a hole in a widened zone coverage, makes a big catch.
Damon Allen has looked comfortable, not facing much pressure at all. Alouettes rush 4. Quick release. Tony Miles has the catch and then is forced out of bounds by Dwayne Butler.
Well, remember one thing though, Mark. The biggest thing is this defense used to line up 8 guys, 9 guys on the line of scrimmage, and it was a pressure defense. They played it and said, you know what, we're going to gamble we get to you before you get the ball off. Now they've gone away from that philosophy and they're rushing 4 to 5. Now they're actually putting onus on their cover guys. Are these guys good cover guys? We're going to find out now.
Allen was so relaxed yesterday, smoking and joking with Robert Brown and Anwar Stewart in the hallways of the Big O. Those are the guys that are trying to take his head off today. Argos, 4 receivers to the wide side. Allen throwing the corner to Arlen Bruce. He's got it. Touchdown, Toronto. Arlen Bruce
with his 11th touchdown catch of the season.
Well, I'll tell you, this is something interesting. Damon Allen, as we watch the celebration, Arlen Bruce is already, you see he's got a choreographed a little basketball there. He's still got to get that NBO out of his head, his NBA thing. But look at the protection. Again, no pressure on Damon Allen, and he's just going to throw a corner route. And, I mean, Melville was beat by 4 to 5 steps by Arlen Bruce. He takes it hard and breaks it to the corner. Beautifully thrown ball. And the result is a touchdown. And I'm telling you, this offense is doing two things. One is it's putting points on the board. Secondly, it's keeping Montreal's offense on the bench.
17-yard touchdown pass to Arlen Bruce, his 11th.
But look at the separation. I mean, that ball is... Damon Allen, you know, you're 42 years old. Yeah, you're 21 years in the league. You're going to play forever if you keep delivering that ball like that. I mean, no wonder they revere you so much out here. He just does the job.
And it was Bruce who was on the other end of that 46-yard catch to set up Prefontaine's game-winning field goal in the last play last week against Winnipeg, and he's got the first touchdown of the game. Damon Allen looking cool and composed, and he said that's a key today with all the sound and noise. He said, if I show chaos, then everybody's going to feel that in the huddle. I have to be a leader.
Well, there's something better than that, Mark, and that is if you come out like you're doing right now, you take the crowd out of the game, and noise becomes a non-factor.
This Argo team, galvanized by the success they've had in Montreal this year, winning the first game of the season here at Molson Stadium, and of course winning the last game of the Big O, the East Division Championship last season. Ball in the air, and it's Robert Edwards on the return from Montreal. Nice sidestep, then he lowers the boom, and he'll cross the 35 as we show you the anatomy of the drive capped by Arlen Bruce III in the Argos' first major. Calvillo intercepted, a controversial interception by Clifford Ivory. Then Talbot sitting in a soft zone against the defense. And Allen 17 yards through the air as Bruce beats Kelly Malvo for the game's first major. He's a confident young man. I mentioned the NBA aspirations. He thinks he can be a two-sport athlete in Toronto and would dearly love a tryout with the Raptors. Hey, they could use him. Here's Calvillo across the middle. Big catch. Ben Cahoon breaks a tackle. Foot race to the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown. The Alouettes answer back a 73-yard touchdown strike to their best receiver, Ben Cahoon.
Anthony Calvillo just sits back there, actually gets some time this time to set up, deliver the football. Ben Cahoon, not only is he a shifty receiver, but look at him break the tackle of Kenny Wheaton and take it 73 yards for the score.
Point after is good. Anthony Calvillo with his 28th touchdown pass of the season. And on the end of it, Ben Cahoon, his 8th touchdown reception. And earlier today, Rich Dubler said he might be the best receiver in the CFL.
Well, I think if you look at his stats year to year and what he does to defenses, they try and double cover him. This is just single coverage, and look, he gets away from it. He's just going to start on the outside and break it into the seam. As he gets to the seam, the ball is delivered perfectly. He breaks and shakes Kenny Wheaton's tackle. Then it becomes a foot race, and Michael O'Shea, you know, he just is not going to catch Ben Cahoon.
And what a spectacular way for Anthony Calvillo to move past the 5,000 yards passing plateau for the 4th consecutive season. And as you can see there, only Doug Flutie has done it 4 years in a row.
And I want to just give you a little update on something I think is even more important for that man's psyche. That's the first touchdown pass that he has had against the Argo defense, including that Eastern final last year. So that's 3 games.
Great point.
That's his first touchdown pass.
So Calvillo finally solves this stingy Argo secondary. And with numbers like that, he has quietly and without any assumption putting up Hall of Fame numbers in the Canadian Football League. Chris, within a year, he might pass
Ron Lancaster.
That's just amazing. And the thing is, he says, all I worry about is the respect from my teammates and my coaches. Everybody else, I really don't give a care what they say.
He's a humble quarterback indeed. Here's Bashar Livingston. A helmet goes flying on a block. Livingston outside. Now he's got some real threatening blocks. There's a flag on the play as he hurdles with joy to the end zone. Touchdown. But there is a flag. And the Alouettes say it's coming back.
Well, they're going to bring this back, and boy, that is a big break for Montreal, who just got some offense going, got a touchdown from Ben Cahoon, and what a way not to have something happen by kicking off to that man, the dangerous Bashar Livingston, who really can hurt you in a flash. He gets around the corner. He always takes him to the outside.
And here's the call from the referee today, Andre Proulx.
Holding, Toronto, 10-yard penalty, first down.
He's just going to go to the outside as he gets up there. Breaks it out. Very hard to pick out. Great block in the corner by Chuck Winters, just knocking the helmet off of Kelly Melville.
The holding call negates a 98-yard return as this game has opened up. From the shotgun, flags down, Allen rolling. His pass intended for Arlen Bruce, incomplete. And Robert Baker loses his lid on the play.
Robert Baker, you know, he's got a bit of a temper, and there's more flags being thrown right now. And tempers are flaring. Mark Word in the middle of this skirmish. Robert Baker took a shot at somebody, lost his helmet. You see Kevin Johnson trying to get Mark Word under control.
Talking to some general managers in this league, they said the scouting report on Mark Word, a big menace along the line, but he can lose it.
Well, I mean, he just got in there, and you know, once you start, it's a very emotional game.
Here's how it happened, and look at this. Robert Baker, the instigator, getting into Mark Word's face, takes two hands to the chops, and then the Argos even out the tail of the tape there.
The interesting thing about that is Robert Baker's usually the one who retaliates. It's nice to see number double, you know, Robert Baker, 88, sitting there and instigating it. He baited Mark Word, and Mark Word's it's gonna cost him.
Jerome Davis coming in to the aid of the receiver Robert Baker, who Adam Rita says needs no help from anybody out there. Pound for pound, he can handle himself, and he makes every receiver in that Argo receiving corps play 2 inches taller. And the yapping is still going on. Baker still taunting Mark Word.
We might have to put a camera on Mark Word this next play and just see what happens from 93 on that Alouette defense.
And they're going to move the Argos and get them out of bad field
Offside.
position.
Montreal.
This is a huge penalty. This guy, he's like he's on a walkathon.
Unnecessary roughness, Montreal 93. Major foul. Unnecessary roughness, Montreal 93. This is 35-yard penalty.
Now Don Matthews incensed with the undisciplined behavior of Mark Word, and look at this. They moved the football all the way to the Montreal 50-yard line. It's 35 yards.
Well, he punched twice. He hit. He's not going to hurt. And that's the thing that people don't understand. You're not going to hurt anybody by hitting him in the face mask. You're protected there, but that's 2 15-yard penalties.
So blood boiling on both sides of the line of scrimmage. First down Argos across the middle. It's complete to Sean Millington, and he's knocked down shy of the first down. Kevin Johnson, who's been in and out of the lineup at middle linebacker for the Alouettes, makes the tackle.
And this is just as you see Mark Word coming back in the lineup. I mean, they know he's a good football player, but you know Don Matthews is just going to have a word with him. Play control. We know you're emotional. Don't take any stupid penalties. You took 2. That's the limit you're allowed this game. 12 sacks for the Cleveland Browns from 2002 to 2003.
Fans now trying to deafen Allen. He goes in behind his center, Chad Folk. And the big man, the Diesel, moving the pile up the gut on that 2nd and 2 situation, and it looks like it's a first down.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Subway Restaurants. Subway. Eat fresh.
And that's the value of having a big back carrying the ball.
Well, he's 240 pounds, and he is absolutely ripped. I mean, he's in great physical shape. The offensive line does this part. They're running a little double tight end, bring a couple big boys in, and Millington just pushes the pile back.
Avery was calling him Arnold Schwarzenegger when he joined the Argos. He looked so good after a 2-year retirement. Another completion to Talbot, and he is pushed out of bounds by Armando Curry.
The thing that Damon Allen does so well is we see him roll out of the pocket to the right. He's got that sidearm delivery. He's one of the few quarterbacks. A lot of quarterbacks really like to work inside out to the wide receivers. They look at the slot backs first and they go to the wide receivers. Damon Allen really likes his wide receivers. Tony Miles, Andre Talbot. A lot of balls caught against Montreal.
Allen making like the conductor of an orchestra here today, using everybody. Now he goes back against the flow and will run. He'll have the first down and just tiptoe out of touch. Great blocking and a great read of the pressure for Damon Allen.
Well, they have to all work together. And I mean, you know, Damon Allen's a guy pulling the strings back there at the quarterback position. Little slide protection to the left. He's going to cut back against the flow. Pump fakes. As he pump fakes, he frees Clay Brooks. He gets to the outside. But look at R.J. Soward, who's back in the lineup today, downfield, blocking, allowing Allen to pick up that first down.
Argos marching again. Kevin Johnson trying to settle this Montreal defense. First down. Quick drop. Allen looking across the middle. It's open. Arlen Bruce has the catch and another Toronto first down. Arlen Bruce has been riddling this secondary from the start of this game. He's got the first touchdown, his 11th of the season. He does it all, returns kicks, and makes the big catches, and is the Argos leading receiver with a huge 18.5-yard average per catch. Argos in the red zone. First down, goal to go from the 8. Allen passing again. Jump ball, complete. The Owls waving it off. It's a touchdown. R.J. Soward back in the lineup after missing 3 games as a healthy scratch.
Ran right by him.
And the Argos have their second passing touchdown of the football game.
Again, a scenario of one-on-one coverage, and he just runs past the coverage. He gets to the outside, juggles the ball, great concentration. Reggie Durden doing all he can to prevent that ball from being caught. But, you know, you got to respect his speed, and because he's got that speed, Durden's going to give him just a little cushion and try and close. But by that time, it's too late. But again, you got to give credit. Nice thrown ball, but equally impressive concentration shown by R.J. Soward to secure that football after he initially bobbled it.
So R.J. Soward with his 4th touchdown catch of the season. An athlete that Pinball Clemens says has matured this season.
Well, he's come back with a better attitude. He came back in better condition. And when he's not playing, he's helping receivers. He's talking guys through. He's working hard in practice. And that's the thing you can't. You know, you have to buy into the system. You have to understand where you are. And I think that's the biggest thing. He came back. He said, I want to contribute to this football team. If that means I don't get to play every down, so be it.
Pinball Clemens saying yesterday that Soward might just be one of the receivers who comes in under the radar in this game. Not one of the prime-time players in the Argo passing arsenal.
Well, I don't believe that, because if you looked at his stats last year, I think he's one of these guys. He doesn't get a lot of catches, but it seems like his catch to touchdown ratio is really high. Like every 3 catches, I think it was last year, he had a touchdown. Right now, it's every 5 catches he's got a touchdown. Not bad odds.
So Damon Allen taking advantage of those penalties, those undisciplined Montreal penalties, getting good field position and swiftly putting the ball in the end zone. The Argos with a 19-7 lead on what will be the final play of the opening quarter. Prefontaine with the kickoff. Robert Edwards starts from his 10. The big running back, hard to bring down. Prefontaine makes contact once, twice, and then hangs on for the tackle. The kicker sticks his nose into it and driving back the big Montreal back.
The gun sounds to end the opening quarter here in Montreal. It's Damon Allen through the air. 2 touchdown passes. Ben Cahoon answering for Montreal. The Argos have the lead. Big crowd, perhaps the biggest of the year in Eastern Canada. And after 1 quarter of football, the Argos with a 12-point lead.
Well, I mean, I think the 2 touchdown passes, the way they've utilized the clock. Look at the time of possession right here. I mean, that's unbelievable. I never expected to see that happen right now, but Damon Allen is orchestrating. He's moving the ball. Montreal, no pressure, absolutely no pressure on Damon Allen. Unless they get some pressure on him, his numbers are going to inflate.
73 of those Alouette passing yards came on the bomb to Ben Cahoon.
He's the only receiver, Mark, that's caught a football in that Alouette offense.
A bunch formation for Montreal. They'll go on the ground, and Robert Edwards pushing his way right through the Argo defense, and he'll be very close to a first down as we join Steve.
Mark, just a few moments ago, head coach Don Matthews came over to the bench and took his headset off and went right into the face of number 93, Mark Word, obviously explaining to the young man, you got to keep your composure because when you lost it, it cost us big time. He only talked to him for about 20 seconds, turned around, put the headset on, and went back to coaching his team.
Thank you, Steve. And Mark Word is in that familiar spot at the end of the bench when you're in the doghouse.
With no friends.
2nd and 1. Edwards, O'Shea meets him in the backfield. Fletcher jumps on him, and then the Argos gang tackle the big Alouette running back. We'll see where they spot the football. They needed just a yard for the first down.
Well, they're going to bring in the sticks, and I believe they're going to be a little short, Mark. Nothing fancy, just a dive play behind that big offensive line. But Mike O'Shea, 50, what a great job from the middle linebacker position to come in there, shoot the A gap, the gap between the guard and center. Initial contact with Robert Edwards until his teammates swarm to bring him down.
And it looks indeed they will be short. So a big stand on 2nd down. And the Alouettes bring their heavy team in. They're going to go for it here. A 3rd down gamble shy of their own 37-yard line. And big Ted White, the backup quarterback at 6'4", 245, lineman size into the game.
I think you have to gamble. I know that they're down already, but you've got to pick up some momentum. Keep that Argo offense on their bench.
3rd down gamble, the length of a football. Ted White up behind his center, Paul Lambert. Quarterback sneak, and it's tough going there. Orlando Steinauer with a late hit over the top. And let's wait for the spot here. The Argo defense pointing like they've got the football. And they're going to have a measurement.
Interesting the way that Ted White takes the handoff and stutters. Watch him stand there and then look for the hole and go to the right. Just losing that initial couple of seconds can allow the penetrations by the Argo defense, who do what's called a submarine technique. That means they're going to go, and all they have to do is take out the legs of the offensive lineman and allow the linebackers behind them to make the play.
Wow, that was close. By a nose.
Ted White there arguing his point, saying, I don't think it was even that close. He's not happy with the spot, Mark.
It's academic. And so a close call for this Montreal offense. And play is whistled down before Calvillo can get the snap off. A Montreal quarterback with prolific passing numbers this season. And he goes to an empty backfield here. 6 receiver set. Firing quickly, intended for Terry Vaughn, but the ball skipped off the field, incomplete. Terry Vaughn looking for his 11th consecutive 1,000-yard receiving season.
Well, he's being everything, but he really has been shut down by the Argo defense in the 2 games that he has played against them. Only 5 catches, held to a mere 37 yards. So they've really done a good job of keeping number 2 away from making big plays.
2nd and 10. 6 receiver set again. Argos rush 4. Here comes England up the middle. Calvillo throwing to the sideline. Edwards goes up for the football but can't bring it down. And he's rocked by Jordan Younger, the corner for the Argos. And it's incomplete. The Alouettes will have to punt.
And Jordan Younger, who plays what's called the hot corner, the short side corner where the majority of your throws are going to go, comes up and sticks Robert Edwards in the back, not allowing Edwards to come up with the ball. Edwards has to maybe come back to this football. He's so concentrating on leaving his feet to make the catch. I think he just got to take a step forward, secure the football. He had a couple yards past the first down marker.
Duval with his first punt of the game, angling it out of bounds and away from Bashar Livingston to keep that dangerous returner and his hands off the football. Alouettes regrouping. They're down by a big margin.
The CFL on CBC. Brought to you by General Motors and all its divisions.
Big Eric England, he's the anchor man of this Argo defensive line and a vocal leader, especially today.
Good job, boy. Yeah, baby! To the house, baby! I told you! To the house! Good job, fellas! Woo!
Vocal indeed. Eric England. The Argos handing off. Millington drops the football, then kicks it. Dwayne Butler picks it up for Montreal. Turnovers have been a killer for the Argos this season. And they turn it over here, deep in their own end. And there's another scuffle.
Well, they're fighting for the football, but basically it's just a misdirection play. They're going to pull everybody to the left and try and hit Millington against the flow. He can't secure the football, and he actually kicks it, goes off his leg. See, everything's going to go, and he tries to come back against the flow. He loses the football, and Dwayne Butler, who leads the CFL with 5 fumble returns, gets his 6th recovery of the season. Nothing fancy. He just does not handle. The ball's put where it has to be. Millie just can't come up and secure the football.
Looked like the ball went off the plates of his shoulder pads. And a big turnover, you're right. The 6th fumble recovery for Dwayne Butler. And the Alouettes now threatening on offense. 4 receivers wide side. Play action rolling now. Calvillo hit from behind. Michael Fletcher, his 2nd of the game. The Argos' 3rd sack of Anthony Calvillo this afternoon.
Smart play, smart football. Defense coordinator Rich Stuber is just pulling it all out. He says, you know what? We're going to blitz him. We're not going to be fancy. He comes again from the top. Look at that. Just outruns, gets around OKK, uses his speed, gets the corner, and brings down Calvillo before he can deliver the football. Another sack. Good pressure by the Argo defense.
A loss of 8 on the play. 2nd and 18 from the 30. 6 receivers again. Calvillo across the middle, incomplete. Dave Stallis should have had that. The man who made the dramatic touchdown catch on the final play to beat BC last week.
As he looks up at the Jumbotron trying to watch what happened, the Argos only going to rush 4, running a little bit of a stunt package. The ball's delivered. He's got the first down. He's just got to secure the football. Dave Stella, who's had a career year with coming into the game with 951 yards receiving, just can't squeeze the ball.
Now the CFL's leading scorer and the only import place kicker in the league right now, Damon Duval, will attempt this placement from the 37-yard line. Ben Cahoon and his sure hands to hold. Duval hammers it, but it's wide right. And it goes out of touch. Livingston lets it go, and there's more bad blood on this football field.
Well, Mike O'Shea is getting into it with Damon Duval. And look at DeVale's going, hey, buddy, you got to be my friend. I mean, didn't you see him? He came after me. And Mike O'Shea, you're allowed to do that. I missed it. He thinks they're going to run a return. He's got the opportunity to go after the kicker.
That's a bit of a mismatch. And O'Shea having his way with the kicker.
A feisty kicker from Auburn. Gets up and personal with Mike O'Shea as we watch the kick.
Look at the airtime from Real Johnson. And so the attempt from 37 is wide for a single. Duval alone with his thoughts. First down, Toronto at the 35-yard line. Allen, pitch out, reverse. Arlen Bruce looked like he wanted to throw. He's corralled, breaks a tackle, and a huge loss. Argos got fancy, and they paid a price.
Mark, I agree with you. I believe this was a reverse, and they were going to tack on and have Arlen Bruce try and throw the football downfield. A little bit of trickery shown by the Argo offense. Little reverse from Johnson to Arlen Bruce. But a nice job by Anwar Stewart and Clinton Wayne to stay in their rush lanes. Don't be fooled on the reverse, and they bring down Arlen for a big loss.
It's 16 yards, the loss, and we've seen Bruce make some dandy completions this year. Allen back to pass, outlet pass. Jeff Johnson into the game, makes the catch, but doesn't even get back to the original line of scrimmage. And so the Toronto Argonauts will have to punt.
And the Argos just sat back in a deep zone coverage. They're going to give you everything underneath. You see them all dropping, all the linebackers are dropping back. He just dumped the pass to Jeff Johnson. And then Kevin Johnson comes over for the middle linebacker position. There's Mark Word working against Jerome Davis. That'll be a battle we'll want to watch all afternoon.
And Noel Prefontaine will punt for the first time this afternoon, as his Argo offense has enjoyed all kinds of prolific plays. Stalling for the first time. Ezra Landry. A vigil at the 25. The dangerous returner who's brought 2 kicks back this year for touchdowns for Montreal. A line drive at Landry. He's got it at the 27. He's small and elusive. And the Argos get him. John Williams makes the tackle after a 21-yard return. Gorgeous autumn afternoon here in Montreal. The Alouettes celebrating their final home game of the regular season, coming inside here to the Big O with a crowd estimated at more than 50,000 fans. It's a chance for fans who can't get a ticket at Molson Stadium to see their favorite team. And Robert Edwards explodes up the middle, and it takes almost every Argo defender to bring him down. His biggest rush of the afternoon, right up the gut.
If you're the offensive coordinator for the Alouettes, you're looking at the defense of the Argos saying, what is their Achilles heel? It is stopping the run. So let's go back and establish the run game with Edwards, pick up good yards, and that will help Anthony Cavill in his passing game. Do not abandon Edwards early. They came out trying to throw the ball the first 2 plays of the game. They had 2 sacks. Maybe this is what they need to do.
And they go right back to the ground game. Edwards dancing, avoiding a tackle, and then he runs into traffic for a gain of about 5 yards. An amazing story, this Robert Edwards, who was a rookie with more than 1,000 yards rushing in the NFL with the New England Patriots, went to the Pro Bowl, participated in a promotional beach football game, and tore apart his knee. Doctors say they've never seen a knee more badly injured, and at one point they contemplated amputation. They managed to sew it together, and he went through 2 years of incredibly painful rehab and has made his way back to football. A look-in pass, Terry Vaughn, sure-handed. He's got it. Clifford Ivory with the tackle.
And the veteran Terry Vaughn, nothing flashy on this play. recognizing where he is on the football field, where the first down marker is, coming back again, keeping Clifford Ivory away from the football, securing the first down.
Vaughn coming into this game with just 54 yards to hit that magical 1,000-yard plateau for the 11th time. That would break his record, 11 straight years in the CFL doing that. On the ground, Robert Edwards is stacked up for a short gain on first down. You're right about the Argo defense, Chris. They are susceptible to the run. And recently, last week, for example, Charles Roberts with 176 yards against Toronto. The week before, Troy Davis, 112. Kenton Keith had 125 for Saskatchewan. Rick Stubler will give you lots of yards in the middle of the football field, but they always seem to tighten up right here, close to the red zone. 2nd and 6. Calvillo in the pocket. Throwing, it's incomplete. His intended receiver went down, but Calvillo was rushed there to get that pass away, and it's incomplete. The drive will stall.
There's a real good battle going on. We're going to have to watch, but Ben Cahoon is going to be coming into the middle, and he just gets, there's Chuck Winters. Now Chuck Winters pushes him down. Now Ben Cahoon gets up again, runs to the official and goes, hey, you have a call. That's the second time that somebody's come over my back. Look at the pressure there working England and Noah Cantor. But we're going to have to watch that battle with Cahoon, this time against Chuck Winters, who did get his hands on the shifty receiver.
29-yard attempt for Damon Duval, missing on his first from 37. Almost down the middle, and he's wide right again. This is highly unusual for the CFL's leading scorer, and the fans in this city are booing their kicker. Duval missing 2 in a row.
Big game.
Damon Duval kicking more like David Duval, the veteran TV weatherman today, Chris. 0 for 2.
He's not happy. I mean, the snap's going to come. It's held right. The laces are spun. He just basically pushes it to the right. Second time he's done that. As you say, he's been having a good year up until that point.
First big pressure game, though. Play action. Damon Allen dropping back, wide open across the middle. It's complete. Arlen Bruce at full speed, though he gives up 5 yards, gets him right back, still on his feet, and finally hauled down across the center field stripe. The Argonauts came into this game, Chris, concerned about the crowd noise in the stadium, and they prepared this week at the Oakville Sports Dome, simulating the crowd noise, working on the silent snap count, something that they anticipate using for the first time this season. And right now, with the way they've been playing an offense, they've really quieted the Montreal crowd. Allen using the silent count, lifting his leg, dropping back into the pocket, pumping, faking. Now he goes to his second read. Tony Miles, great hands, big catch, and another first down.
I don't think the Alouettes can live playing defense like this right now. They're going to rush 3 and drop 9, but they're sitting in zone coverage. Look at the areas. They're all just sitting in little areas. You know, Tony Miles just finds the hole. Now, if you're not going to get pressure on Damon Allen, he's got too much time to check out all the holes in the zone coverage and move the ball.
And with that catch, Snoop Dogg Tony Miles over 1,000 yards this season. Allen back to pass, complete again to Tony Miles. That's the 11th consecutive complete pass for Damon Allen, a streaky quarterback on fire here.
Well, you know, they've always given that. 21 years, Damon Allen's had that label. But the thing I like about Damon is if you got a quarterback in a big game, who's the guy? He seems to always rise to the occasion when the game's on the line. Tony Miles is his favorite receiver, loves to go to him all the time. Hasn't had a touchdown, as you mentioned, in 5 games, but, you know, he wants to end that drought today.
Tony Miles over 1,000 yards for the second time in his career. First down. Here comes a safety blitz from Montreal. Allen caught, fumbles the football. It's loose, and a scramble on the turf. And the Argos get it back. And what looked like Butler looking for his second fumble recovery in consecutive series.
Well, Butler made the play, and I mean, we talked about the fact that you have to bring pressure. This time they bring pressure. As a result, nobody can pick up 25. Anwar Stewart has the best shot at it, but you see one of the receivers, either Costa or Jerome Davis, 65, got in there like a ball hawk, went down that cheeseburger with a hungry man, and he swallowed that ball up.
Well, the Argos will lose 6 yards on the fumble. They get Fillion, the quarterback hunter, takes his three-point stance. Here's Allen across the middle, wide open. Sean Millington, and the Diesel turns upfield, but he'll be held short, well short of the first down.
Well, Sean Millington is doing what's called a check release. He's going to check to see if a blitz is coming. If there's no blitz coming, then he releases into the pattern. He's the last option for Damon Allen. He sees him wide open over the middle. As you say, the defense, the Alouette defense will give you that all day because they can close on him.
Noel Prefontaine taking his sights. Good on 1 of 2 today from 25. This attempt will come from the 29-yard line. Kevin Ivan to hold. Prefontaine makes it look routine. A big smile on the veteran's face as the Argos widen their lead with 2:56 until the half. Just under 3 minutes until the half. Canadian Tire at the half will have highlights and analysis. Brian in the panel of the first half, and a history of excellence looking back at a great Alouette receiver, Peter Delariva. All coming up at halftime here in Montreal as Anthony Calvillo goes back to work. 4 receivers to the wide side. He looks to the short side. One-on-one. He's got a connection, and it's Kerry Watkins at a foot race to the end zone. Touchdown, Montreal! The Alouettes leading receiver with his 9th touchdown.
Well, Kerry Watkins, what a great play. Gets away from the coverage. We've seen both touchdowns by the Alouette offense, a result of breaking the tackle and then getting into the clear. Now, Ben Cahoon, he used his jets. He's not the fastest guy. He shook off a tackle by Michael O'Shea. And this one again, Kerry Watkins just comes away, gets away from the coverage, and Michael Fletcher can't bring him down and takes it the rest of the way. And big play offense gets him back in his football game.
Yes, Anthony Calvillo's longest touchdown pass of the season, 75 yards to Kerry Watkins. 2 big plays, 75 to Watkins, 73 to Cahoon. Calvillo's first 2 touchdown passes of the year against Toronto.
And a nice thing in the beginning of the replay, you saw Anthony Calvillo pump fake down the middle to freeze the safety Orlando Steinhauer to keep him in the middle of the football field. Then he comes over to the left side. He hits Kerry Watkins on the fly, who gets away from the hot corner guy. The guy that's pretty much had a great year, Jordan Younger, breaks the tackle and takes it all away. And
Calvillo looking off to the wide side before coming back to the boundary. And the Argo defense not accustomed to giving up these big play touchdowns through the air.
That's their strength, right? We talk about the fact their Achilles heel has been their inability to stop the run, but they've been preventing the pass. Well, they've given up 2 plays over 70 yards today to Cahoon and now to Watkins. And you see, there's offensive coordinator Barry talking at him. Calvillo saying that's what we need.
And how about Calvillo and his receivers looking for the 2nd year in a row to have 4 receivers over 1,000 yards. Really impressive considering they lost Copeland and Calvillo. 2 newcomers this year, and the man you just saw, Kerry Watkins, one of them, stepping up into a starring role after being on and off the roster last year.
Well, remember they got Thyron Anderson back. He hasn't been a factor in this football game. He's been back for about 5-6 weeks now. And of course, they got Kerry Watkins, who's really been an impact player.
Big block. Livingston gets to the sideline and is caught as he goes across the 20, but Kelly Malvo leveled by Chuck Winters right near the goal line.
Well, that's the 2nd time that Chuck Winters has laid out Kelly Malvo. Sure, Livingston, you see right there, just takes him down. That's a nice job of staying with your block, working down as we take a look. Shoulder to shoulder. Beautiful block.
Chuck Winters, of course, filling in for the injured Antonius Bonner, who is lost for the season with a knee injury. A big hole, big shoes to fill. The Argos on defense and special teams. 2:33 to the half. Here comes the Montreal blitz. Handoff, Millington. Just can't quite break the seam as Mark Word gets back in the nick of time, and the Diesel is slow to get up.
Well, it's a delay draw, and that means they're going to hold it just for a second. You see Millington is indeed hurt. And they're just going to fake a pass and slow release Millington with the draw play, hoping to catch the defenders more up the field, but they're running a stunt.
Look at the hole.
Initially, it's there. Kevin Johnson, Mark Word bringing him down, and you can see a little bit of pain expressed by Sean Millington on that play. Davis trying to keep to the outside.
Tell you what, Chris, it's like playing on the parking lot on this old, beaten AstroTurf field. And some concern from the pinball as his feature back is down. We'll check on Millie when we come back. As he limps to the sidelines, and it looks like he's got an ankle injury.
Well, if we take a look, and here he is right here, just a draw play. Now, take a freezer right there. Look at the lane right here. Now, I know they're talking about John Avery not being in this game, and maybe the quickness might have exploited that hole. Millington a little slower, brought down by Kevin Johnson, and a little bit of an ankle injury.
Now the noise, a real factor here is the 50,000 plus start the wave and try to deafen Damon on a second down situation. 7 yards to go. It's deafening. Jeff Johnson in for Millington. Allen stepping up. Oh, a big completion across the middle to Tony Miles, and a Toronto first down.
Well, Tony Miles is just simply running away from Reggie Durden, doing a crossing route, coming across the middle of the football field. Again, only rushing 3 guys. They have had no success with the 3-man rush. That allows the speedster, Tony Miles, to come across the middle on that route. Damon Allen has a great throwing lane, and he completes the ball and gets him out of trouble.
That pass right on the money. One of the toughest throws for a quarterback to make. Here comes the crowd again. Filion takes aim. Here comes the blitz, and play is whistled dead again.
Timeout.
And it looks like Damon Allen called a timeout. He was about to lose the play clock, and he made the shrewd veteran move to call a timeout.
Well, you saw Coach Clemens giving a thumbs up right there. Actually gave 2 thumbs up. Smart move. You know, you saw the blitz coming up. That made him hesitate. He wanted to check the call. Ran out of time. He only got 20 seconds to get the call off. As a result, he realized he didn't have enough time. Hold a timeout, regroup.
Set the clock to read 1:58.
Pinball. Pacing. The crowd trying to inject itself into the game here to help the Montreal defense. First down. Allen still waiting for the referee to whistle play in. And you don't like to stand at the line of scrimmage as an offense. You want to get up over the ball and get the play away.
The clock to read 1:58. 1:58.
Well, there are situations as they address the crowd, because there is a penalty. You can be penalized. The crowd can actually cause your team to be penalized with too much noise.
Referee asking for the clock to be reset back to 1:58, so 3 seconds added to the clock. The silent snap count. Allen pumps, now throwing downfield for Soward. There's contact. Reggie Durden there with an elbow that the Montreal Canadiens would appreciate, but no call.
That's a nice job of the veteran Reggie Durden, who's had his hands full with Tony Miles. There's contact down the field. The official's going to let that go, and you can see that Reggie Durden, what he's trying to do is keep it to the outside. He doesn't bite on the fake because he's not looking at the fake. He's so concerned with just running with the speedster down the sideline.
That's the first incomplete pass for Damon Allen in 13 consecutive completions. The pinball up and down the sideline. Second down. Allen steps up. Can't find a receiver. He'll run. And he'll have a first down. Head first dive from the 42-year-old quarterback.
And if you want to know what the impact or the implications of this game are on a first down, is he into this game? He usually does the old safe baseball slide. This time he keeps the ball ahead of him, sees that first down marker, gets some blocking downfield and dives, as you say, head first to pick up the first down.
And that's why he gets so much respect from his opponents. And that's what keeps him coming back. 1:33 and counting to the half. Montreal blitz. Allen in the face, throws it up. Intended for Robert Baker. Well covered. Ricky Bell and Reggie Durden on the play.
A great blitz called by the Alouette defense. Dwayne Butler and Ed Fillion are going to come free right in the middle of your screen. Just bust through. There's Ed Fillion. 75. Great hit on Damon Allen, forcing that ball up way before he wanted to throw it, and it falls incomplete.
Remember, it was this Montreal defense that broke Damon Allen's leg a year ago, and Fillion was accused of taking a shot at that leg in the East Final. Palmer into the game now for Soward at receiver. 2nd and 10. Allen, lots of time, 5 steamboats, and he throws it away.
Great job of coverage downfield by the Alouette secondary. This time a little bit more of a zone man coverage. They don't just sit on one side. As a result, Damon Allen can't find the hole. He has to hold on to the football. They're only going to blitz 4 this time. They bring 4 guys, a little bit of pressure. He just sits there. He's got all the day in the world to throw the football. Nice throwing lane, but as you say, nothing is there. Every receiver is covered. And as a result, he does a smart thing and throw it out of bounds.
So a calm here with 1:19 to go. The crowd helping to affect the Argos on that drive, perhaps. Ezra Landry, the lone man back to await this Prefontaine punt. Prefontaine, a line drive to the sidelines, won't get it away. Landry stops at a dime and can't escape. Good punt cover. Bo Lewis and Jeff Johnson in on the tackle for the Argos. A reminder tonight, we've got Forsberg and the Flyers against Lindros and the Leafs. 2 men who came into the league at the same time. That's our first game on Hockey Night in Canada. Coming your way, pregame show at 6:30 Eastern. And then the nightcap from Vancouver. Joe Sakic and the Colorado Avalanche take on the Canucks. Marcus Naslund in game 2 of our Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader. And you can see that 2 big plays for touchdowns account for 3/4 of the Alouette passing attack in the first half, and a big play across the middle. Dave Stala, that's more like it. Sure hands, and a first down.
Well, before Kerry Watkins caught his electrifying touchdown pass, that was his first reception. Ben Cahoon was the only receiver on the Alouettes to catch a ball. Now they go back to Dave Stella, who, in 2 games has had almost 200 yards receiving against the Argonauts.
Young man out of St. Mary's, and now a hurry-up offense. Flags are down. Catch is made by Thyron Anderson, his first catch of the game, very close to a first down. But as I mentioned, there are flags on the play. The hurry-up offense is something the Alouettes practice every day, and we saw how good they are at that last week in the final 41 seconds against BC.
Well, it's a situation also when you go hurry-up offense, you also have, and it does affect your timing of releasing as a receiver. I think they got one of the receivers jumping the gun on this play.
Offside. Montreal 88, 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
It's Dave Stala offside. First down repeated now, 15 yards to go, 52 seconds on the clock. Calvillo, 4 receivers wide side. A flat pass to Anderson, and he gets across the original line of scrimmage as Kevin Ivan, the league's leading tackler, knocks him out of bounds at the Argo bench.
The Argonauts read that play all the way. They slid out Robert Everett to the outside. They tried to get the ball on a quick hitch pattern with some blocking in front of him, and Kevin Ivan saw that, ran the length of the football field and brought him down after a short game.
Don Matthews saying that last week's dramatic final drive should be called the drive. He said Calvillo threw the football, called his own plays, and didn't waste a second, and we needed every one of them. Well, here he is in the same situation at the half, trying to get some points for Montreal. That pass intended for Watkins is high and incomplete, and more flags on the play. Let's turn back the hands of time and revisit the final drive. 75 yards, 41.6 seconds. Calvillo, aggressive in his play calling, goes to the air, and then 20 yards, the Hail Mary to Dave Stala at the back of the end zone. And the Alouettes come from behind to win it 46-44.
And that was just a great job of Stella using the height advantage over the quarterback Sam Young and the Lions on that play.
Argos called offside. It's a 2nd and 5 situation. Edwards, big first down, but a flag on the play again, and the Argos say it's holding Montreal.
Well, Jonathan Brown is signaling to come on back, bring it back. Seen a barrage of penalties the last couple plays here.
Holding. Montreal 65. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Paul Lambert. That's holding.
Well, initially when you get your hands, and he brought his hands back down and pushed him to the outside, but you know, when you got that line judge right behind you facing you, pretty tough to get away with one of those in the middle of the field.
Right now the lion's share of penalties going to the Alouettes, 7-1. Empty backfield, 6 receivers. Calvillo loading up, throwing across the middle. It's intercepted. Orlando Steinauer has it for the Argos, and he'll cross the 40-yard line with 28 seconds on the clock. But a late flag on the play.
Well, we talked earlier, Mark, about the tempers and how these teams do not get along, and as a turnabout, once you get an interception, you're allowed to become the attacking team and block downfield, and they were going after it. They were in field goal range before the infraction. It'll be dependent on if it goes against the Alouettes or the Argonauts, but again, a nice play by Orlando Steinauer on a pass intended for Thyron Anderson.
So the Alouettes fire offense is grounded by Orlando Steinauer's 2nd interception of the season, as Pinball looks in for the call.
After the play, major
Take a look, it's just going to run a little blitz back, and he tries to force the ball in the middle. Thyron Anderson cannot get around Chuck Winters. Chuck Winters is almost like a decoy in the middle of the football field, and as a result, that ball goes right to Orlando Steinauer, who's playing that midfield position.
Michael Fletcher penalized for unnecessary roughness. It's 15 yards, and from the 28 they move it all the way back to the 52-yard line. First down, 28 seconds, Argos. Flat pass, Arlen Bruce looking for a block. He's surrounded, and he'll be tackled by Kevin Johnson and Ricky Bell. Gain of about 5. Argos need to get on the line of scrimmage and go with their hurry-up offense.
They'll try and get the ball out. Quick hitch pass to a very dangerous receiver, Arlen Bruce, in open space, but nice job of coverage and tackling by the Alouettes.
Allen facing the blitz, in trouble, throws it away. Ball bouncing in front of Tony Miles.
Great presence of mind by number 9, Damon Allen. You see a little smirk on his face. He knows he should have been sacked rightfully on that play. Montreal coming with the blitz on that play to bring some pressure on him. From the outside, there's Durden. Carey came through. He avoids the sack and just throws it away.
So the penalty to Fletcher will take points off the board, or at least a chance for a field goal for the Argos. And this would have been a 55-yard field goal attempt by Prefontaine. Wisely, the Argos will punt, knowing that Ezra Landry has already taken back a missed field goal 125 yards earlier this season against Edmonton for a touchdown. 12 seconds on the clock. A flag down. Prefontaine with a line drive to the goal line. Ezra Landry, oh, big tackle. Bo Lewis with a big play to stuff the diminutive Alouette returner in his tracks.
And this will be an interesting call, Mark, because if they move it up against the Alouettes, it may offer the Argos a last chance field goal attempt. And they are indeed going to call it against the Alouettes. I watched the interior of the Argonauts line. It looked like they snapped down.
So now you get a 3rd and 1 situation. With 4 seconds to go, you got to go for the field goal?
Well, you got to go for the field goal. But you can see he just jumps. They're trying to time it. They're trying to hit. That's Piercy, the rookie, trying to get in on that. He's so concerned about getting into this guy in the A-gap that he jumps the gun. But with great coverage downfield, what a great job by Bo Lewis to square up and bring down Ezra Landry.
Field 3rd down.
So Prefontaine will attempt this field goal from the 50. He's already missed one today from 50 yards, and 50 yards is his longest kick of the season. From the left hash mark. Prefontaine, a big leg, and good. Noel Prefontaine matching his longest field goal of the season from 50 yards out. High fives all around as the clock ticks to 0 here in Montreal. The Argonauts have the lead and have controlled the football. Their defense giving up 2 big plays on passing touchdowns. That's the big story.
Well, Montreal's really hurting himself. I'll tell you, that's the biggest thing.
Let's go to the sidelines now, and here's Steve.
Thank you very much, Mark. Don Matthews, your thoughts on your team's performance in that first half?
I don't know if we can play any worse. We're dropping balls, not getting the ball in the red zone. We're taking penalties. That was just a very, very poor half of football. Hopefully they can settle down and play a better half this next half.
Did you see anything positive from your offense in that first half?
Well, the 2 big plays that we got, but we can't make a living on those. We've got to sustain drives and put it in the end zone.
Don, thanks for this. Good luck. Don Matthews and the Alouettes go into the room, trailing the Argos here at the Big O, a noisy Big O in Montreal, 25-16. We're at the half, and you're watching the CFL on CBC.
Thank you, Mark. Back in Montreal before this huge crowd. A good first half of football. This battle for first place in the Eastern Conference and home field advantage, of course, in the playoffs between the Montreal Alouettes and the Toronto Argonauts. The Argonauts with a 25-16 lead with Eric Tillman, Greg Frères, and Darren Flutie here in the booth adjacent to the field. And fellas, let's take a look at the first Toronto touchdown. And Darren Flutie, it came off a real gift.
Yeah, well, it was a gift. A pretty bad call by the ref on this one. Obviously, the ball hits the ground there, and it should be an incomplete pass. And that leads directly to what? Damon Allen finding Arlen Bruce. And Damon Allen, let me tell you, this first half, he has been precise, right on. The Alouettes have to get pressure on Damon Allen, have to hit him. Hey, he's a 42-year-old quarterback. Hit this guy, make him think twice.
Now the Alouettes, Eric, come back, and who else but Ben Cahoon? They've had a couple of big plays, one to Watkins, but let's take a look at the one to Ben Cahoon that brings him back into this football game.
Well, you know, they've done a great job in terms of putting up points off big plays in the first half. You get this one's a 73-yard play. Later they come back with a 75-yard touchdown pass to Watkins. Brian, the bigger picture for me that has to concern the Montreal Alouettes is all their plays have been big plays. Time of possession in the first half when the first quarter was 12-3 in favor of Toronto, and that has a way of showing up late in the game. The Montreal defense has been on the field far too much, and it does not reflect the score.
Greg, we saw a gift from the officials. I mean, there's no way that was an interception. Now we're going to show you a dumb penalty by Montreal that gives Toronto another touchdown. If we can roll that, it's the dumb penalty by Word.
Yeah, Mark Word, you know, he's come in to be able to create a little bit of size in that defensive line, a little bit being 6'5", 300 pounds, but he made contact with the official. I think he should have been kicked out of the game, just lost it, pulled him off, Don Matthews, for one play, and then sent him back in. But again, not getting pressure on Damon Allen, just being able to give him time back in the pocket. You got to give that secondary of Montreal some help and get some pressure on Damon Allen.
Absolutely.
What about the running backs in the first half? Millington has a sore ankle, made a couple of good runs, caught a pass. Edwards was a non-factor early.
Well, he was a non-factor early. We didn't see that running game, and you cannot beat the Toronto Argonauts by throwing the football. Well, they're going to shut you down as far as throwing the football. Alouettes got a couple big plays, but they consistently couldn't move it. But Edwards started to run the ball better in the second quarter.
Well, it took into the second quarter, 9 minutes left, for him to actually break his first run. Montreal is losing on first down. We talked at the beginning of the show saying that they needed to be effective on first down. We thought that Robert Edwards was going to have a big part in that, as he has an average of 6.7 yards a carry. They have not utilized him the way that they should.
Well, speaking of first down success, I think that's been the key for the Toronto Argonauts. They've kept Montreal on their heels the entire first half. By controlling first down, they've forced Montreal to play a lot of zone. You know, they haven't gotten any pressure. Damon Allen just is in his zone right now. I mean, you could tell he's feeling it. But whenever you control first down, Brian, you control the tempo of the game, and that's what Toronto's done in this first half.
Before going to commercial, what have you written here?
I took some copious notes in the first half. I have Prefontaine kicking good, Duval kicking bad.
Very complicated stuff.
That's a Boston College degree.
It's halftime here at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, and the Argonauts lead the Montreal Alouettes. Stay with us. Lots more to come. You're watching the C crowd. A good first half of football. This battle for first place in the Eastern Conference and home field advantage, of course, in the playoffs between the Montreal Alouettes and the Toronto Argonauts. The Argonauts with a 25-16 lead with Eric Tillman, Greg Frères, and Darren Flutie here in the booth adjacent to the field. And fellas, let's take a look at the first Toronto touchdown. And Darren Flutie, it came off a real gift.
Yeah, well, it was a gift. A pretty bad call by the ref on this one. Obviously, the ball hits the ground there, and it should be an incomplete pass. And that leads directly to what? Damon Allen finding Arland Bruce. And Damon Allen, let me tell you, this first half, he has been precise, right on. The Alouettes have to get pressure on Damon Allen, have to hit him. Hey, he's a 42-year-old quarterback. Hit this guy, make him think twice.
Now the Alouettes, Eric, come back, and who else but Ben Cahoon? They've got a couple of big plays, one to Watkins, but let's take a look at the one to Ben Cahoon that brings him back into this football game.
Well, you know, they've done a great job in terms of putting up points off big plays in the first half. You get this one's a 73-yard play. Later they come back with a 75-yard touchdown pass to Watkins. Brian, the bigger picture for me that has to concern the Montreal Alouettes is all their plays have been big plays. Time of possession in the first half, when the first quarter was 12-3 in favor of Toronto, and that has a way of showing up late in the game. The Montreal defense has been on the field far too much, and it does not reflect the score.
Greg, we saw a gift from the officials. I mean, there's no way that was an interception. Now we're going to show you a dumb penalty by Montreal that gives Toronto another touchdown. If we can roll that, it's the dumb penalty by Word.
Yeah, Mark Word, you know, he's come in to be able to create a little bit of size in that defensive line, a little bit being 6'5", 300 pounds, but he made contact with the official. I think he should have been kicked out of the game, just lost it, pulled him off, Don Matthews, for one play, and then sent him back in. But again, not getting pressure on Damon Allen, just being able to give him time back in the pocket. You got to give that secondary of Montreal some help and get some pressure on Damon Allen.
Absolutely.
What about the running backs in the first half? Millington has a sore ankle, made a couple of good runs, caught a pass. Edwards was a non-factor early.
Well, he was a non-factor early. We didn't see that running game, and you cannot beat the Toronto Argonauts by throwing the football. Well, they're going to shut you down as far as throwing the football. Alouettes got a couple big plays, but they consistently couldn't move it. But Edwards started to run the ball better in the second quarter.
Well, it took into the second quarter, 9 minutes left, for him to actually break his first run. Montreal is losing on first down. We talked at the beginning of the show saying that they needed to be effective on first down. We thought that Robert Edwards was going to have a big part in that, as he has an average of 6.7 yards a carry. They have not utilized him the way that they should.
Well, speaking of first down success, I think that's been the key for the Toronto Argonauts. They kept Montreal on their heels the entire first half. By controlling first down, they forced Montreal to play a lot of zone. And, you know, they haven't gotten any pressure. Damon Allen just is in his zone right now. I mean, you could tell he's feeling it. But whenever you control first down, Brian, you control the tempo of the game, and that's what Toronto's done in this first half.
Before going to commercial, what have you written here?
I took some copious notes in the first half. I have Prefontaine kicking good, Duval kicking bad.
Very complicated stuff.
That's a Boston College degree.
It's halftime here at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, and the Argonauts lead the Montreal Alouettes. Stay with us. Lots more to come. You're watching the CFL on CBC. Your printing's not bad either.
History of Excellence, brought to you by Nissan.
When it comes to great Canadian receivers, few players can match the career of Peter Dallariva. A tight end with Montreal for his entire 14-year career, he entered the Canadian Football League in 1968, quickly becoming a force, leading his team in receiving for 5 years. That consistency earned him both All-Star and All-Canadian honors on 3 separate occasions, eventually leading to the Canadian Football League's Hall of Fame. A big man with soft hands, Dallariva scored 54 receiving touchdowns, a franchise record that stands today. The Southern Ontario native helped lead the Alouettes to 6 Grey Cups, winning 3. A true Hall of Famer, Canadian receiver Peter Dallariva.
Canadian Tire at the half. Brought to you by Canadian Tire. Let's get started.
The Toronto Argonauts with a 9-point lead over the Montreal Alouettes as we get set for the start of the second half of this pivotal East Division matchup between 2 teams deadlocked for first place. And let's go to the sidelines. Here's Steve with Pinball Clemens.
The big question for the Argos head coach, Mike, can you update us on the playing status of Sean Millington?
Sean Millington looks like he'll be down for the rest of the half. We'll evaluate him after we get back into Toronto, but right now it doesn't look good for him to return today.
Don Matthews said his team played a terrible first half. How about your own team?
Well, I thought we played a solid half of football. We can play better. We gave up a couple of opportunities, but we also responded to a little bit of adversity. When we fumbled the ball, defense came out and made a sack on first down, and then came back and got 2 field goal misses down in the red zone. So we can play a little bit better football, and we will in the second half, but pretty solid first half.
Mike, thanks for this. Good luck in the second.
Thank you, Steve.
Mark, back to you.
Thanks, Steve. So the pinball saying that it looks like the Diesel is out for the second half. How does that affect the Argos?
Well, that means that Jeff Johnson's going to have to really step up and have the game of his career, basically. I mean, they wanted Millington to be the power back to punish this defensive line of the Alouettes. Now Jeff Johnson's going to have to do it, and if he does anything, he'll have to be a blocker because they still can go 6-pack with the receiving crew. So I think they can still do things. They found success. He's been out for almost a quarter now.
Got the halftime statistics. Do you buy the scathing assessment of Don Matthews and his football team?
Well, I mean, you got to look at it. They've only had 2 big plays, right? Granted, both touchdowns, but the fact is, I think the biggest thing that's hurting the Alouettes is the fact they got penalties that have led to a touchdown. Mark Word getting a back-to-back objectionable conduct penalty, 60 or 30 yards, and then of course they just jump offside now and allow Prefontaine to come on and attempt a 50-yard field goal to close out the half, which he was successful on. Penalties will kill you, and that's what's hurting the Alouettes.
There's Jeff Johnson, who is inserted into the starting lineup now as a running back in place of Sean Millington. The graduate of York University has played mostly as a special teams player for the Argonauts. And there's the scene of Sean Millington hobbling off the field with help of his teammates. That right ankle all bandaged and iced up. And perhaps this hard football field taking its toll. Prefontaine with the kickoff to start the second half. And it's Ezra Landry at his own 15-yard line, negotiating his way close to the 30 and then hammered, and there's Noel Prefontaine right in the thick of it again.
Now, one of the things you have to be impressed with is the way that they cover on special teams. We take a look at Anthony Calvillo as he comes on the football field. Boy, he wants to have a better second half than he did the first half.
There's his passing distribution in that first half. 50% completion, 200 yards, but as you mentioned, those two big TDs of over 70 yards accounting for most of it.
Well, you know, basically almost 150 yards at that 204. So basically, if you didn't have those two plays, you'd have almost 50 yards left there.
Play action, Calvillo firing to the short side. Kerry Watkins makes the catch for a short gain of about 3 to 4 yards. Watkins with one of those big play touchdowns in the first half. Calvillo had come into this game having not thrown a touchdown pass in 77 consecutive attempts against the Argo defense, and then he burns them for two big ones.
Well, he also got two big plays by the receivers who turned them into touchdowns. Kahuna shook off the tackle, and Watkins, who also beat the tackle and took it all away.
Imagine that the head coach peeled the paint in the Alouette locker room at the half after that interview with Steve. Across the middle, bobbled and incomplete. Ben Cahoon had it, grabbed the handle, couldn't bring it in, and then paid a price as Kenny Wheaton came across with a big shoulder.
Well, and again, it's a scenario of not being able to sustain drives. They did this in the first drive of the game when Cavillo was sacked twice in a row. This time they come out in a second down situation. He gets the receiver. Cahoon, usually the best hands out there, doesn't drop the football, but good job of Kevin Iben to come in there and to have enough of a contact, enough interference with him to not allow him to come up with a catch.
Cahoon has taken some of the most ferocious hits this year of any receiver in the CFL. Arlen Bruce at his 30. Sidesteps the first pursuing player. There's a flag on the play. Another helmet goes flying, and Arlen Bruce has just a 4-yard return on that 45-yard punt by Duval, and the penalty will be no yards against the Alouettes. One more penalty against a heavily penalized team. Damon Allen was only good on one of his last 5 completions before the half after starting red hot with 13 straight in that first half.
Well, I mean, he's been utilizing look at the left half of this football field. I mean, he's going backside. He's done a nice job of looking the set and the safety off, coming back to the short side, throwing deep balls. We saw him with Arlen Bruce. He's done a nice job of getting the ball to the receivers on time and well thrown footballs.
Yes, he's taken the crowd out of this game at times and has used the silent snap count effectively. Okay, there's an injured Alouette. The rookie, Matthew Prue, is prone on the field.
Well, he comes in there and tries to make the tackle. He does make the tackle, albeit without his helmet. That's one way to stay with it. At least he makes the play.
Matthew Prue is the promising rookie out of Laval, a first-round pick of the Alouettes, who got that pick in a draft day trade with the Ottawa Renegades, giving up their kicker Matt Kellett. And this is the young man who has a bright future in the Canadian Football League, a product of that juggernaut Quebec football program.
Well, out of Laval, and he's also made some contributions defensively, as he has forced 3 fumbles when he has played in spot duty.
And he's the leading special teams tackler on this Alouette football team, and this is rookie year. The Argos are stopped as they try to scrimmage. And Michael Palmert is in for Soward now, and we're underway. First down, Toronto. 46. Allen against the blitz, wide open. Tony Miles at midfield gets a block from Palmer and is finally wrestled to the ground by Curry. And there was nobody within 10 yards of Tony Miles. An 18-yard pickup for the Argo receiver as we go to the sidelines for an update. And here's Steve.
Mark, the word I'm getting from the Argos locker room is that Sean Millington may be gone for the season with a torn Achilles tendon. They will neither confirm nor deny that story, but you got to wonder, at his age, 37, that kind of injury could spell an end to his career.
Oh, that's tough news for Sean Millington. There's his replacement, Jeff Johnson, making the catch out of the backfield for a gain of 5.
And Sean Millington, who was just starting to feel comfortable in his surroundings as an Argonaut, coming out of retirement, as we all know, for the last 2 years, to come and get an opportunity to play. And Well, we wish him well and hope it isn't an Achilles injury. You see his replacement, Jeff Johnson, over the middle. Again, another check release pattern, and Allen delivers him the football, picks up 5 yards.
2nd and 5. Here comes the blitz again. Allen with time across the middle, complete to Tony Miles. Play whistled before he drops the ball. Reggie Durden, the defender in coverage for the Alouettes.
That's a nice job of Reggie Durden because they're bringing the blitz. They got hurt on a play previous when they brought the blitz in a breakdown of communication between Malvo and Reggie Durden. This time Durden has the guy. He's got him all the time as he's coming across. Durden's just right there and does enough to disrupt the timing of that pattern.
And so the drive will stall at the 41 as Prefontaine looks for his 4th field goal of the game. 3 for 4 so far. This one from the 48. He did hit his last field goal from 50. Hammers this one hard and just enough steam to get across the goalposts. Another field goal for the Argos as they extend their lead. A reminder, it's your chance to log on to cbc.ca/football and cast your vote for the warrior of the game, the player that shows grit, heart, integrity, and fight. And there have been some worthy candidates this afternoon. Robert Edwards right up the middle, and again moving the pile to within a yard of the first down marker. The big Alouette running back with 6 100-yard rushing games this season.
And in their victory over the Argonauts, ran the ball 21 times for over 100 yards. Only carried the ball 6 times previous to this in the first half. I really feel that they have to utilize big number 47 and get him involved in this offense.
Edwards, who had a 4.3 speed in the 40 as a rookie, but after that devastating knee injury, Don Matthews says he's down to a 4.7. A lot slower than he used to be, but he still brings a load, and there's a flag on the play as he's met right at the line of scrimmage on this 2nd and 1 situation. This is the 5th featured and leading running back for the Alouettes in consecutive years as you look at the players they've gone through since 2001.
And all but Autry Denson has been the sole, or Deion Whitaker as well, being the sole running back. Other than that, everybody else is basically being switching back and forth with Eric Lapointe. You got to forget that's a guy that's who can be a game breaker as well when he gets an opportunity to carry the ball in the backfield.
Don Matthews says he has employed the 2 running back system because of the pounding that players at that position take. But this year he's gone with Edwards because of his big average carry of 6.7 yards. That pass is complete to Ben Cahoon, and he steps out of bounds right at the first down marker. There is a flag on the play.
And Mark, another thing that really to get back is they're going to call a little interference against the Alouettes. When you have one back, there is a little bit of a continuity, not only with the offensive line as they make holes for him, but also as the handoff from the quarterback and the exchange to the running back becomes very routine.
Pass interference, Montreal 81, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's what they call the rub in pro football. And Kerry Watkins penalized for interference.
Well, they're just going to run a rub. He's coming into your screen, and all he's trying to do is pick the defender to allow the other receiver to come free.
Handoff out of the shotgun. Edwards still on his feet, twisting and turning and diving across the 50 just to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, he picks up 10 yards. It'll make it a 2nd and 10 situation. But Robert Edwards with already 2 carries early in this 3rd quarter. Nice stutter step to get to the opening and runs over Kevin Ivan. Brought down finally by Noah Kantner.
Made a courageous comeback after that bad knee injury. Don Matthews saying he's not doing it for the money. He was paid handsomely in the NFL, but just loves the sport. Here's Calvillo scrambling. Now he'll throw. It's intercepted. Kevin Ivan has it, and he's on the rampage. And the quarterback, Anthony Calvillo, makes the tackle.
Well, Cavill makes the play. Ivan gets the interception, and Terry Vaughn is left wondering.
Anthony Calvillo with his second interception of the game. Anthony Calvillo not happy with himself, matching a year low, a third interception in one game.
Well, they're just running three guys. Here's three guys on a blitz, and they're just going to bring three man as we run the play. It's 5-on-3, good protection. You can see O'Shea in the middle. There's your middle linebacker now. As he comes up, now freeze it right there. Look at, here's Ivan. He's got the coverage. This is his initial coverage. That's Tyrone Anderson. Now throw the ball. As he throws the ball, there's Terry Vaughn. The only guy that's moving toward the football is Kevin Ivan. He read the quarterback all the way on that play. Made the big play for the Argo defense.
Allen throwing the ball looked like he wanted to throw it out of bounds, but what a circus catch there as Ivan celebrates the century mark in tackles for the second consecutive season in his career and his first interception of the season. Watch this catch. R.J. Soward keeping his foot in bounds. And the gain is 4, 2nd and 6. Five receivers to the wide side. That's where Allen looks, dumping it off to Robert Baker. He breaks one tackle, very elusive as he slides his way for another 4 yards. And a Toronto first down, a gain of 7 on the play.
It's a great way to get Robert Baker involved in your offense on the backside. Initially, he's going to help with the blocking. Then he just slides out late from that left side. Allen finds him, delivers him the football, and then you talk about the toughness of number 88. He just gets up there, refuses to be brought down.
First down at the Montreal 34. Robert Baker inching ever so close to 1,000 yards. He'd be the third Argo receiver to do it this year. Here's the blitz. Allen gets the ball away. A one-hand catch by Robert Baker at full stride. He turns the corner. Touchdown, Toronto. The Argos beat the blitz and take the steam out of the Big O.
Well, Kerry Carey is coming on a safety blitz. The interesting thing, I believe that Baker used the official also as a little bit of a rub. Looked like kind of got caught in that. Just going to come across the middle, and you'll see he just runs. And of course, yeah, that's what happens. Defensive back runs into the back of the official. That springs Robert Baker, and he takes it the rest of the way himself. Another big play by the Argo offense.
Robert Baker with a 34-yard pass and run touchdown. And now he's just 48 yards away from 1,000. Point after is good from Noel Prefontaine. And the Toronto Argonauts in control of this football game. Robert Baker with his first touchdown catch, Chris, in 8 consecutive football games.
Oh, it's a nice job, and I mean, that's just recognition by the quarterback, Damon Allen, seeing the blitz. Robert Baker's just going to line up one-on-one. Ricky Bell. Now Bell gets picked by the official. Now that official's going to get called. That's an illegal rub. He helps out Baker on that play. Baker takes it all the way around. But what they'll see is Carey, the safety, comes on the blitz from the outside. There's nothing in the middle.
Hey, you hit me in the hip.
The thinker, the wise veteran, Damon Allen, savoring another big play, touchdown for the Argos this afternoon as they open a 35-16 lead. Big, deep kickoff to Robert Edwards at his 10-yard line. Edwards straight upfield and finally brought down. Chuck Winters makes the tackle as he crossed the 40-yard line.
You see Damon Allen there, a picture of contentment, knowing he's had a pretty good afternoon. But here's the blitz. Now watch, here's the safety. Look at this. There's nothing in the middle here. As we bring the blitz, number 1, here comes the safety blitz. It's just a little slide pattern. Throws the ball out there. Baker does the rest, gets it outside, and 35 or 34 yards later, it's a touchdown. Recognition. Nice job by Allen on that.
Anthony Calvillo to the wide side, puts some spit on that ball. And Terry Vaughn makes the catch and crashes his way to center field. and a first down.
You see Cavill just getting the ball out to number 2. Really, you need to make a guy like this, the big playmaker, Terry Vaughn, you got to make him a part of your offensive package. He really needs to come through and get that ball to him more often.
Inching closer to the 1,000-yard mark. Edwards with a straight arm, and Kevin Iben in there to wrestle him to the ground for a short gain.
Well, we've seen a number of situations. We talk about Terry Vaughn and trying to get the ball to him. The play previous, Iben intercepts. Take a look at those statistics, though, Mark, from 1995, 11 straight years. He owns the record at 10 already. He's just going to add to it.
And also chasing Ray Elgaard's mark for number 3 in most receiving yards in CFL history. Here's Anthony Calvillo throwing back. Oh, what a pass and what a catch. Thyron Anderson pays a price but hangs on. A first down.
People don't recognize how difficult this throw is. He is rolling to his left and throwing cross body back into the flow. A lot of quarterbacks like to roll the other way. He has to come back and turn his body all the way around to get the ball to Thyron Anderson, who goes up and makes a nice catch in tight coverage.
16 yards the gain. Calvillo way back, throwing home run pass. Oh, great coverage and incomplete. Kerry Watkins and Jordan Younger side by side at the goal line.
Well, Jordan Younger, who got burned earlier, had the coverage, but Watkins broke free for a touchdown. This time says, no, one time is my fault, second time not going to happen. Just stays with him in the hip pocket, and look at that right hand come out, knock the ball incomplete.
Textbook coverage for the young man in his second year out of Connecticut, playing the corner. The short corner, the hot corner in Canadian football. Six receiver set. Calvillo across the middle, and again it's knocked down. This time Chuck Winters bats the Calvillo pass to the turf.
This is an interesting battle. We've talked about it earlier. Chuck Winters really doing a nice job of staying with Ben Cahoon across the middle. We saw Jordan Younger with a textbook coverage play to play earlier. This one, he's just trying to come across the middle and almost replicating the previous play by his cohort Younger. He gets his left hand in there and knocks the ball out.
Duval now from the 44. He's 0 for 2 this afternoon. His longest 49 this year. He hammers this one high and wide again. Damon Duval wide right again as Livingston brings it out of the end zone. A flag on the play behind the returner, and he's running in circles and hammered at the 6. Damon Duval hexed today and unable to split the uprights. Marcelo Simmons, the special teams coordinator, with a quick word with Livingston. Chris, do you think he was telling him to take the single?
Well, the biggest thing is you think that you do it because of the field position, but freeze it right here. I want to show you what he's looking at. He's looking at, he's got the corner. And you know he loves to go to the out corner. That is why he decides to run it out. But you see Kevin Iben with the block from behind. So even if he got the corner, it'll all be called back.
Real tough field position for Damon Allen. First down at his own 5. Dropping into the end zone. Firing it across the middle. It's complete to Tony Miles. Short gain on the play as the Argo playbook shrinks that close to their own goal line.
Well, only picks up third, puts him in a second, a medium to long situation, and now it's time for the Alouette defense to kind of stand up and do some work here. Force the Argos to punt, and they'll take over the ball in good field position.
There's the offensive coordinator, Kent Austin. Damon saying yesterday, we've put our minds together. 2 CFL quarterbacks. And he says, I have a much better understanding of the game. Allen at the goal line. On a line drive, it's complete to Tony Miles for a first down in front of Darryl Crutchfield. And let's compare these two quarterbacks, both making a case for most outstanding player in the East.
Well, they are fighting, and it is between these two guys as quarterbacks. But Damon Allen, 27 of 35, I mean, Anthony Cavillas, you talked about really struggling today, and that's credit to the Argo defense, but he has put up the big plays, and he's kept this team in the game so far.
Allen at the top of his game. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes today, 30 on the season. That's his best performance in 15 years. On the ground, Jeff Johnson showing some agility and some big moves as he jukes his way up the middle of the field, close to a first down.
Well, opportunity, you never know when it's going to knock, but you got to take advantage of it. Jeff Johnson, with the injury to Sean Millington, stepping in, getting a chance to carry the ball. Does a nice job. They're going to bring out the sticks for measurement.
Jeff Johnson with his first carry of the football game. He also has 1 catch in for the injured Sean Millington, and the unfortunate early report is that the Diesel may have suffered a torn Achilles tendon.
Well, that's terrible. You know, he was so pumped up about coming back and being a contributor, not just playing, but having impact on the offense. And for him to have that injury, we only know it's speculative at this point. We hope it isn't the Achilles, but that's the report we're getting early on.
So Jeff Johnson pressed into service. Both Avery and Millington injured for the Argos. First down. He pumps to the wide side. Allen comes back to the short side to Tony Miles, and Reggie Durden is right there to make the tackle. Gain will be about 4.
Well, Reggie Durden is playing tight. He's going to just keep Tony Miles, the speedster, right in front of him where he knows he can make the play after he catches the ball. Tony Miles is going to pick up 5 yards, but Reggie Durden is not going to allow him to escape.
Second down and 5. Miles has gone over 100 yards today, 102 on 9 catches from Damon Allen, his favorite receiver this afternoon. The blitz coming again. Damon Allen runs, looking for daylight. Nice move as he beats Curry and then goes down across the 50. Another Toronto first down. What agility.
What a great example of, we used to call it, give him the lazy leg and then pull it back and leave the defender grasping air. But watch him pull his leg away from the defender. This is Curry. He just kind of lifts it up, gets over there, and then dives under Carey before he can lay a hit on him.
Carey, who came into this game with 9 interceptions, and after last night's Ottawa-Hamilton game is tied for the league lead with Corey Banks. First down, Toronto at their 50. Swing pass to Jeff Johnson, his second catch. What a hole, what a run down the sidelines, and a full gallop, still going, touchdown. Jeff Johnson's biggest play of the season, 59 yards, and they're booing again in Montreal. Johnson off the bench for the injured Sean Millington.
Well, we just talked about the fact that he got a carry, made a nice move. Now he gets a little swing pass, only his second catch of the season, and 59 yards later. Look at him tightrope the sidelines. I mean, that's just determination when you get a guy like that who gets an opportunity to shine. And you can't, you just got to be happy for a guy like that. I mean, he's not happy that Millington's hurt, but he's happy that he's got an opportunity to show the coaches, you know what? Hey, I can contribute on this offense. He's going to keep that football. You see, give it to the equipment guy, put that away for the mantelpiece.
Yes, a souvenir for the Canadian out of York University. And the point after is good. A souvenir for Jeff Johnson as he races to the end zone for a huge touchdown, 59 yards on a swing pass of all things.
Well, just a swing, get him out in the flap, a great block. Arlen Bruce, number 5, springs him. Look at Talbot down the field, and then he simply refuses to get pushed out. R.J. Soward doing enough to interfere with Kelly Melville to allow Jeff Johnson to tightrope the sidelines and get into the end zone. I mean, it's not about one guy, but when you got all your receivers helping out down the field, big things happen. That's a perfect example right there.
And you want to know why that ball's a souvenir, because that's his first CFL touchdown in 5 seasons in this league. A young man who tore it up at York as a running back has quietly played a backup role and a special teams role in this Argo offense, and now he gets the glory in a big touchdown, and the Argos are loose and all smiles on the bench.
Well, you see Mike O'Shea talking to R.J. Sauer. They're all coming over saying, great job. You didn't make the catch, but you were the final block that sprung Jeff Johnson into the end zone. You can't be, that's a great thing for the young man. 6-year vet with his first touchdown.
The ball is away, and the Alouettes are in tough. Down 42-16. Robert Edwards slashing his way through that kick cover, and he'll establish terrific field position for Calvillo and the offense. Damon Allen with 4 passing touchdowns this afternoon to match a season high. It all began with Arlen Bruce. He came right back to R.J. Sauer, a terrific catch, then a one-hander. Theatrics and circus acts today for the Argos, and then out of the backfield, Jeff Johnson, 59 yards, showing his speed down the sideline. 4 touchdown passes, and now he's at 31, creeping so close now to his season or career high of 34. A fumble on the play there. The Argos scrambling for the football, and Okeke all over that one.
Well, Montreal gets the ball back, but as you said, we talked about this coming into the game, Mark, that the CFL most outstanding player race was going to probably come down to between Anthony Calvillo and Damon Allen. Might Damon Allen have taken some ballots off the Calvillo desk?
I think he might have today, and if the Argos finish first in the CFL in the East, might Damon Allen get more votes? He's never won the most outstanding player award.
Well, he's won just about everything else, as you see. Robert Edwards busting up, picking up a first down.
Right now, the Alouettes need more than a ground game to come back. That's a first down across the 50 at the 49 of Toronto. This will be the last play of the third quarter. Calvillo throwing in coverage, and it's incomplete. Kevin Iben, who has 1 pick today, helping to break that play up. Fourth quarter straight ahead here at the Big O in Montreal. The Argos with a 42-16 lead over the Alouettes in the rubber match of the season series. They have split 2 games already, and this will be huge for first place. Calvillo scrambling now, dumps it off to Edwards. He puts his head down and crashes to the 35-yard line, a gain of 14 yards, and he's become a one-man wrecking crew for the Alouettes on offense as we look at the third quarter numbers.
Well, you know, a lot of times the stats can be misleading, but I think this time when you look at these stats and you see the net yards and you see the time of possession, it's pretty clear that the Argonauts, under the direction of Damon Allen, have really taken it to the Montreal Alouettes this afternoon. I mean, outscoring them 20-0 in that third quarter.
Calvillo stays on the ground, and Edwards slashing his way through the Argo defense, and he'll be close to another first down.
Well, I mean, I know they want to give Robert Edwards the ball right now. They still got a quarter, and they're going to take it 1 touchdown at a time. Just off the right side, busting up, brought down finally by Kenny Wheaton.
This is the 6th play of the Alouette drive. Handing off again, and look at Edwards carve his way and rumble right through the Argo defense. Another first down as Mike O'Shea finally brings this big back to rest.
And you know as well as I do, Mark, that there's still a lot of time left in this football game with the fourth quarter, and you can't relax. And you hope that the Argonauts aren't saying, hey, we've got a pretty good lead here, and kind of lose the momentum. Right now you see that Anthony Calvillo on 3 to 4 successive times has just given the ball to Robert Edwards, and he's done the damage up the middle. Breaking tackles, being brought down, but not before he picks up another first down.
One shy of 100 today with 99 on 13 carries. Here's Calvillo in the pocket, firing to the end zone. Touchdown, Terry Vaughn hanging on.
Well, finally something for the crowd to cheer about. Terry Vaughn, they've tried to get him the football early. He's being covered very well by the secondary of the Argonauts, and the coverage here is not that bad by Clifford Ivory. But Anthony Calvillo just throws this. You see him, he puts some steam on this football, and he gets it there just before Clifford Ivory can get there to break up that pass.
So close they could hold hands. Terry Vaughn with his 6th touchdown catch of the season. That's the 7th passing touchdown in this football game this afternoon.
Well, Montreal's got all the weapons, and just a matter they've been running Edwards. Now they're going to drop back. The points in the game, a little extra protection. Calvillo, a lot of force on that football. He just rifles it in there, and Terry Vaughn comes back to it. Just a split second before Clifford Ivory, who had designs on trying to intercept that football. I think Ivory may have been trying to play the ball rather than receiver on that play.
And the classy veteran just takes a seat, quietly savoring that touchdown catch.
Well, Terry Vaughn doesn't do a lot of dancing. He always says, you know what, act like you've been there before. And he certainly has.
That's the 30th touchdown pass of the season for Anthony Calvillo. One behind Damon Allen in that department. Pinball knows with 12:56 on the clock, there's still lots of time in the Canadian Football League.
But you know, it's really tough, because when you do get a big lead like that, you tend to relax a little bit. That'll wake him up quickly.
Duval kicking off to Bashar Livingston at his 10-yard line. Livingston beats the first man. Patrick Dorvelis brings him to a stop, and then Mike Villemick makes the tackle for the Alouettes. Next week, the CFL on CBC moves to the nation's capital. It's the Alouettes at Ottawa, coming your way with the pregame show at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific, and the Ottawa Renegades really putting themselves in trouble for a playoff spot after that lame loss last night in Hamilton.
Well, they didn't play very well last week, and you know that they have a very, very slim chance to get in there, but they got to win both their remaining games.
Damon Allen has passed for 855 yards in the last 2 games. In the shotgun, handing off to Jeff Johnson, dashing, turning upfield, and he'll be very close to an Argonaut first down. So Jeff Johnson making good on his opportunity here for the injured Sean Millington.
Well, Jeff Johnson makes the most of his opportunity, as you say. But I like the way this offensive line is just coming out and creating holes. Jude St. John pulling around, sealing the interior of that linebacking crew, allowing Jeff Johnson to get some yards.
Quickly, let's go down to Steve for an update on Sean Millington. Steve?
And it's the worst of all possible news. We can confirm now it is a ruptured Achilles tendon for Sean Millington. Mark?
Terrible news for the Diesel. Thank you, Steve. Second and short as the Argo quarterback sneaks it up the middle. And so Sean Millington, who ended a 2-year retirement to come back to this game at the age of 37 in top fitness, suffers a debilitating ruptured Achilles tendon injury and is gone for the year.
Well, as you said, it wasn't a question of conditioning. He was in top condition. It's just a freak injury, and a lot of those just happen at the most inopportune times. And we wish him well in a speedy recovery. He's got a lot of rehab. I got to tell you, he's going to be working with the rehab people for quite a while, because that's a very tough injury to come back, not only just to play football, but just to walk again.
I remember when Matt Dunnigan suffered a torn Achilles tendon back in the mid-90s with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and I witnessed some of his rehab. It was excruciating, the pain. It is an Argo first down on the measurement. It was excruciating to see the pain he went through to get back to fitness, and the Achilles was as thick as a banana after that.
Well, you have to get the flexibility back as well, so there's a lot of stretching and torquing of the muscles, and there'll be a lot of screaming, I'm sure.
It is a Toronto first down by inches. Allen keeps Jeff Johnson at his side in the backfield. Motion now. R.J. Soward comes in to block. Play action. Allen rolling to the short side. He throws it to R.J. Soward now. And he'll be pushed out of bounds at the Argo bench just shy of the first down.
Exact same play they ran in the third quarter, only in the third quarter they used Robert Baker. They're just going to bring Soward down and then leak him out. They just leak him out, and it becomes wide open because everybody in the secondary drops off thinking he's just going to be blocking. Creates some space. The ball is delivered to him, and he picks up 8 yards.
2nd and 2. This Argo offense so well prepared for this football game. Taking apart the Montreal defense for 42 points so far this afternoon. A hesitation, a draw to Jeff Johnson, and he's off to the races again. And finally stopped at the 45. Richard Carey coming up from the safety position.
Well, I like the way this Jeff Johnson hits the hole. He's got some jets. He gets out of there lickety-split. I mean, watch him just break the one tackle. That's all he has to do, and that's Claybrooks, 91, who tries to bring him down with just an arm tackle, and he picks it up, busts through there, gets up there, good speed, slips at the end, but picks up a first down.
Who says a Canadian can't star at tailback in the CFL? We saw Jesse Lumsden last night ripping apart the Renegade defense. And now Jeff Johnson. Off the blitz, open, Robert Baker. Ricky Bell 5 yards away in coverage, and another Toronto first down.
Damon Allen today, Mark, is a step ahead of everything that Montreal's throwing at him. I mean, he recognizes this blitz coming before it even happens, takes 2 steps back, and just dumps the pass. Here comes the blitz. I know it's over there. Baker's wide open. I delivered him the football, and the rest is history.
Damon Allen was telling us yesterday, Chris, that Kent Austin is never unprepared. He does so much homework in advance of each game. And the veteran quarterback comes in confident each time. Look at these numbers today. Johnson again gets the call, bouncing outside, breaking tackles. What an effort, a yeoman's effort for the former York back. He's capitalizing, Chris, on a golden opportunity here.
Well, Jeff Johnson again displaying great balance. Look, stutter step, runs into Costa, pushes off, gets to the outside, breaks the tackle of Reggie Durden. I mean, he's a power little running back. He's got some wheels and he's got some strength.
Terrific second half for Jeff Johnson. 4 carries for 43 yards. 75 through the air and a touchdown, his first in the CFL. A short yardage, second and less than a yard. Flags fly as the Argos go up the gut.
Argos are going to be called for procedure on the play. I believe it's Jonathan Langdon who comes in at that tight end spot. He's going to jump the gun on the snap count.
Procedure. Toronto 72, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
I mentioned Jesse Lumsden last night. He had 10 carries for 73 yards, 102 on 3 catches. As we look at that procedure call.
Just off to the right, he just jumps the gun. Gets ahead of the snap count. They would have picked up the first down, but the official right there throwing the flag. Good call.
It's not that coaches doubt the ability of Canadian running backs. It's just that they're so hard to replace when they get hurt. Although this afternoon, Jeff Johnson has filled in for the Canadian Sean Millington, and terrific results.
Well, it shows you the importance of depth in your lineup. That's what it really shows me is Montreal calls a timeout. I mean, the fact that, you know, Toronto's just got good people coming in and replacing.
And in case you've just joined us on our broadcast this afternoon, these are the circumstances. Damon Allen with 4 touchdown passes for the second time this season. Anthony Calvillo 3 through the air. Big plays have ruled the day here at the Big O, Chris.
Well, the offenses have really shone today. They've put up some numbers. It's just, I think that Damon Allen and the Argonaut offense has really been firing on all cylinders, not having to live off the big play, but they've been able to also grind out the clock and utilize big drives.
Second down, 6 to go. Allen throwing. Look at that. Right on the money to Tony Miles in full flight. Another Toronto first down.
And there's, Mark, that's the big thing. I mean, he is in full flight. Damon Allen is on the money, because if he throws that ball late, the guy coming from the top overneath will come up and he'll punish the receiver. And there's Reggie Durden. Now, Reggie Durden is coming in. He brings down the receiver, but if that ball is delayed and being delivered to Tony Miles, Durden is going to lay him out.
Damon Allen over 400 yards passing for the second week in a row at 411 right now, and the Argos threatening to increase their lead. On the ground. No, great play action. Damon Allen fooled everybody and slides to the goal line. Touchdown, Toronto.
You run Jeff Johnson. Montreal wants to live with this big defensive ends now. We got no time for the speed anymore. Need guys like old Alfred Payton chasing him down. The fact is, because of the fact they hand off the ball to Jeff Johnson, both ends squeeze. They go to the fake, the play action to Jeff Johnson, and that allows Damon Allen to run untouched to the end zone.
9 yards. Sorry, Chris, 9 yards, and his third rushing touchdown, orchestrating a Toronto offense here today that is having its way with the Montreal defense. As we mentioned, a defense that has been tinkered with all season by Don Matthews, and again this week it's giving up huge numbers. Last week the BC Lions, this week the Argos. The point after is good, and the Argos put a stranglehold on this football game for first place in the East. Damon Allen enjoying his receivers on the bench, and a tremendous afternoon as he used his sleight of hand this time for a touchdown.
Well, a little play action pass right here, and he's just going to scamper out here. Watch this ends collapse. A lot of drawing, but it'll all come through. They all go after Jeff Johnson, and look, Damon Allen actually runs out of the screen, but he's untouched as he slides 8 yards later into the end zone.
Great setup using Johnson, who's had some prolific running plays, and then faking it to him and taking it himself 9 yards to the end zone. And Landry has been corralled all afternoon as he's brought down at his own 25-yard line. Damon Allen celebrating with his receivers. This is the first time they've had this receiving core together the whole year. And for the first time since Doug Flutie was the quarterback of this team in '97, the Argos have a chance to have 3 receivers over 1,000 yards. And the last guy to do it would be Robert Baker. He's just 32 away this afternoon. And Ted White has come into the football game at quarterback for the Montreal Alouettes. Robert Edwards reversing his field in front of Jonathan Brown, and he's finally brought down.
And Jonathan Brown doing a nice job. Mike O'Shea, a Warrior at the middle linebacker position, filling that, bringing down, help to bring down Robert Edwards after a short game.
What do you make of Don Matthews inserting Ted White, who comes into this game with just 7 completions and 9 attempts as he conceded defeat?
Well, I think it's a great move in the fact that you're looking at the score right now. He was criticized last year, Mark, for not giving him any playing time when Cavill got hurt in the East Final. And I think right now it's a great opportunity to get your backups some playing time in case something happens in the final, whether he's injured or whether he's not being productive.
You're right. That was a criticism last year when Ted White was forced to come in for the injured Calvillo in the 3rd quarter of the East Final. Anthony Calvillo on the sidelines, unlike him, just above 50% completions, 274 yards, and 3 interceptions to go with 3 touchdowns. The Argos called for interference on that last play.
Interesting note about that stat as well, Mark, with him finishing with under 300 yards passing. It'll be the first time he's lost when he's thrown for less than 300 yards, which, usually that meant that your running game is in fact, a factor.
And the Alouettes will stay on the ground as Eric Lapointe gets the carry.
Well, it's nice to see Eric Lapointe getting a couple tries to carry the football as well. I mean, it's not the end. Remember, we're in a scenario here where Montreal is going to end up being 9-7 with all likelihood. Going to hope to rebound against Ottawa next week.
Now the Argos start to make substitutions on defense. Riel Johnson into the game, along with Jeff Keeping. Passing now, Ted White for the first time, nearly intercepted. Orlando Steinauer had a bead on that ball and nearly picked it off.
Well, they should have picked it off, but I tell you what, Thyron Anderson and Terry Vaughn are side by side, and as a result, they pull in 3 defenders. I mean, there's Thyron Anderson. He's right here now. There's another receiver. Look at the 2 receivers right there, almost in a straight line. Well, you do that, you're going to bring some company with you, and usually it's not the kind of company you want to keep, and Orlando Steinauer almost with an interception.
Michael Bishop now ready and warm to come in on offense for the Argonauts at quarterback. A high spiraling punt from Damon Duval, perfectly positioned and out of bounds in front of Bashar Livingston. Michael Bishop at the controls of the Argonaut offense when we come back to Montreal. Damon Allen's day is done. Terrific and prolific afternoon at quarterback with 4 touchdown passes, running for one himself. 411 yards through the air. 2 weeks in a row, Chris, passing for more than 400 yards.
How about that, though? Only missing 8 pass attempts.
Only 5 punts this afternoon between these 2 teams as Michael Bishop goes to work at quarterback. He started the 2nd game this year against the Alouettes and was pulled at halftime for the injured Allen, who came into the game hurting, and that ball nearly intercepted as it bounces in front of Armando Curry. Once again, we invite you to log on the internet and cast your vote for Warrior of the Game. cbc.ca/sports/football, and I don't know, I think we have a prohibitive favorite here today.
Well, he definitely has had a wonderful afternoon. Boy, he's taken advantage of everything that Montreal has thrown at him defensively, and he got some help. I like the way that Jeff Johnson came in and filled in.
Yes, Jeff Johnson had a terrific 3rd quarter and 4th, and here he is again. Look at how elusive he is. Lots of speed. And he'll gallop across the 25-yard line for a gain of about 13 yards.
Yeah, they'll send down Prefontaine, but once again, look at the stutter step, change of direction. I mean, he just runs away from the would-be tacklers, Clinton Wayne in that instance. I mean, you got to be impressed. I mean, one of the coaches are going to do is they're going to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I won't hesitate to put this kid in the offense when I got an opportunity. He really can explode. Great foot speed.
Gain was slightly exaggerated at 13. It was really just 8. Terrific anyway. And it's a punt situation on 3rd and 2. The announced crowd here today, 51,279, the 2nd highest crowd in the CFL this year. Just last week in Edmonton, 53,216. Prefontaine hammering a deep spiraling punt to Ezra Landry at his 36. The little man bouncing and weaving and finally brought down as helmets fly. Was the ball loose? Argos say they have it. And it is Toronto football. Another turnover, the 4th of the day for Montreal.
Well, simply a case of Ezra Landry trying to make something happen. You see the ball there, comes out low, recovered by number 40.
Brian Crawford, running back out of Queens, quick to smother that football. So the Canadian running backs all getting a hand in it today. Disappointment written all over the face of Ezra Landry. Michael Bishop in the shotgun. Most of the fans here have already gone home in Montreal. And again, Jeff Johnson lights it up, bouncing outside, turns on the speed, and is finally forced out of bounds at the 9-yard line.
Well, you know what? Maybe half this team said, Jeff Johnson, you know what? Yeah, you can hang out with us. Now they're going to all want to hang around with him. He's a star in the making. Again, it's a delayed draw. Fake the pass, then put it into him late, and then he just explodes through that offensive line, breaks it to the outside, and Brought down, but not before he's inside the 10-yard line. Nice job of changing direction. I mean, his vision is very good. And he runs low to the ground. He's a small package, 5'9", but boy, he's got some gallop in him.
37-yard gain for Jeff Johnson. And it's 1st and goal, Argos. They give it to Johnson this time, and the Alouettes were waiting. Anwar Stewart right there along with Patrick Dorvelis for a loss on the play.
Well, you know what? They tried to go to the well again up the middle. Little stutter steps, almost like a counter play, and you see Clinton Wayne coming in there, bringing him down before he can even get started. That's the best way to derail a running back, is take his wheels off before he can get going.
Jeff Johnson with 7 carries and 85 yards, make it 86 on the ground. 2nd down, Argos. Play action, and again, a great fake. Michael Bishop puts his head down, crashing across the 5-yard line. We're at the 3-minute warning in Montreal, where it's all Toronto. Back at the Big O in Montreal, and now it's the big man's time of reckoning as we check his Gillette game notes.
Well, Toronto, we talked about Baker with Bam, not a cooking show. We talked about Baker and all the receiving crew at Allen. 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions. That's pretty nice. On defense, no run for first place. He said you got to hold him. You can't let him run all over you. They didn't really utilize Edward, but they did stop him. He's got 102 yards rushing, albeit too late to have any factor in this game.
This Alouette defense has never given up as many yards this season as they have today. 560 yards offense for Toronto. Play action now. Michael Bishop throwing to the end zone. There's bumping there. It's incomplete, intended for Michael Palmer.
Let's take a look on Montreal. AC's a spark plug to deal. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Not a whole lot of help. Some penalties, some drop balls on defense. We said he had to dump Damon Allen on his backside. He had to disguise the defense. They had no pressure on Damon Allen all afternoon. We know he had 4 touchdown passes, 411 yards, no sacks. Big stat. And everybody they got in there filling, from Jeff Johnson on, did a great job.
Great job yourself, sir, on your Gillette game notes today. And Jeff Johnson having a red letter day for the Argonauts in place of the injured Sean Millington, who left with a ruptured Achilles tendon. And the Argos going to the end zone there to Palmer, perhaps because he's the only receiver who didn't have a catch today. But those situations are not going to make you friends with the opposition.
Well, I think they just want to get something positive right now. They're looking at the clock going 2:28. End our misery. As you said, the fans have pretty much emptied out of the Big O. I think the only positive from our standpoint is we'll be able to get our flight. We won't get caught in traffic, so I get to the airport in time.
I'm just asking about throwing into the end zone, though, there by Bishop. Second down. And the big quarterback will rumble himself. He's hard to bring down. He's built like a lineman. And he'll be just shy of the 40-yard line. A gain of 22 yards for Big Ted White.
And a late flag thrown again right after the play. And a little frustration being shown. Ted White is a load, though. When you take a look at the size of him. He said he dropped some weight. He's still about 245 pounds. 6'4" out of Howard.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Toronto number 12, 15-yard penalty. First down.
I believe he called Adrian Smith on that penalty. Unnecessary roughness. Pee Wee getting involved.
The big O-line hoggies, Jude St. John and Chad Folk. Their work done today. They've had a tremendous afternoon protecting Damon Allen and opening some holes for Jeff Johnson. Ted White to pass. Wide side, and it's low and incomplete, intended for Terry Vaughn. So the Argos, with the win today, Chris, will move to 10-6. The Alouettes will go to 9-7, and both teams have identical schedules to finish the season. They both play Ottawa and Hamilton. So the only chance that Montreal has to win first and have a home playoff game back here at the Big O is to win their last 2 and have the Argos lose their last 2.
And I think they're looking at that schedule, and they're saying that we should at least win 1 out of it. We have 2 games left. If we win 1 of the football games, we basically clinch first place right now.
Ted White with 3 receivers wide. He looks to the short side. It's intercepted. Jordan Younger lateraling to Michael Fletcher, and the Argos bringing it back down the sidelines, finally pushed out of bounds.
Yeah, this Montreal team really does not look sharp right now. They haven't from the opening series when Anthony Cavill came out in the first 2 pass attempts, sacked, 1 for a safety, and that was the start of a miserable day for this offense. And in this one, Ted White just throws it. Sylvain Girard doesn't come back to the football. Jordan Younger comes up with an easy interception, laterals it over to Fletcher, and he takes an additional yardage down the football field. And once again, the Argo offense is on the field deep in Alouette territory.
And this is unusual for Montreal. That's their 4th interception given up this afternoon, the 5th turnover. They came into the league in 2nd place in interceptions given up with 15 all season. And here are the standings that take today's result into account, and the games ahead for both teams. And the Argos have another short week, and they've been pretty good on short weeks this year, Chris.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, they only take 1 game at a time, and any good coach will tell you that. We can only take care of what we have to take care of. They did a nice job on Montreal today. They're going to celebrate, they'll enjoy it, but you get back to work a lot quicker on a short week. You also get a check a lot quicker as well, and that's a nice thing as well. But now they know that, you know what? First place is definitely within our sights.
Not rubbing it in anymore. The Argos have decided not to go to the end zone this time, as Michael Bishop takes another knee with 1:28 to go. Still a lot of time. You're not going to run the clock out doing that at this point.
But it's an interesting flow in the fact that they're not trying to run the score up. They've got a 26-point lead. They're basically just saying we're going to kill the clock, try and do a better job of killing the clock. I'm surprised that Michael Bishop doesn't just take off and run around with the ball a little bit.
There was some bad blood earlier in the game, but saner heads prevailing here in the dying minutes. And this is a terrific rivalry that's been going between these 2 teams. Ben Cahoon was quoted in the Globe and Mail today as saying there's no rivalry that compares to this one in the last 5 years. The others are just about history. And I have to agree. I mean, these 2 teams have fought some big Eastern Division finals and appear to be on a collision course again this season.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by Standard Life. Keeping our word is standard.
And you know, this kind of a game weighs heavily on a proud franchise like the Alouettes.
Well, we heard the crowd today at a number of occasions voicing their displeasure with not only Damon Duval, who was 0 for 3, I believe, in field goal attempts this afternoon. And it just seemed like they never did get on track from the get-go.
Mark Word, who had some bad penalties in the first half, letting his temper get the better of him. Eric Lapointe getting some carries here in the late stage of this football game. The Alouettes aren't just being beaten as the tempers flare again. They were humbled here today.
You know what? I know they're going to look for the positive. You know, there's something that's good out of the situation. They're going to say, you know what, we got to go out there and realize we just can't show up. I know you're going to hear that quote. We got to come prepared. We weren't prepared. They should be. When you got a coach like Don Matthews, you know that basically all they can do is put the plays in. It's up to them to execute. They just did not execute this afternoon.
3 times this year, Don Matthews' Alouettes have been below 500. A different type of season. Normally they're home and cooled out after a strong start. This year they've been coming back, and they will have a 4-game win streak snapped here at home today.
The interesting thing, the dynamic that I was watching today was the defense. The Montreal defense, it used to be the real backbone. Yeah, they had a good offense with Cavill, and he was good. But, I mean, they always had this attack, speed defense that just gave every offense fits. They look very ordinary today.
Look at Ed Fillion. You can tell that this weighs heavily on him. One of the proudest members of that Alouette defense that was shredded today.
And they talked about, Mark, going bigger. Let's go bigger. Let's get bigger guys out there collapsing the pocket. Well, it didn't work today.
25 seconds left on the game clock as the Argos continue to enjoy the waning moments of this football game. Bruce opening the touchdown cavalcade with his 11th of the season in the first quarter. And all smiles on the pinball.
You also heard that Baker talking about 4 more games. That's all they got. They're counting that they're going to finish first. They got 2 regular season to win the final and to get to the cup. It's 4 games indeed.
On the ground again. The Argos content to give up the medium yards, and as the clock strikes 0, Eric Lapointe is brought to his knees. The Toronto Argonauts humiliate the Montreal Alouettes today in a battle of 2 teams who were tied coming into this one, 49-23, and for the first time since 1997, Toronto wins the season series with Montreal. Now let's go to the sidelines and hear Steve.
Thank you, Mark. Damon Allen, you made it look oh so easy today. Why was it so easy?
I think we coming in the situation, a hostile environment, allowed our team to really focus. And, you know, first of all, we wanted to establish the goal that we set this year for our football team was to try to host the Eastern Final. And, you know, we knew this was one step in doing that.
The good news is you won a football game, a big one here in Montreal. The bad news is you may have lost Sean Millington with a ruptured Achilles tendon. The flip side of that is Jeff Johnson stepped up.
Well, Jeff, you know, getting an opportunity to play really showed what you've seen today is really how he practiced, and I think you have to give him credit. He's been waiting for his opportunity for a long time, and, you know, when he got a chance to play, he really stepped up and made big. And so, you know, I call him the unpolished diamond. So we polished him off today, and he was shining today.
Damon, thanks for this. Good luck. Damon Allen and the Argos' big win here in Montreal, thanks in large part to the unpolished diamond, Jeff Johnson.
The CFL on CBC, brought to you by Rogers Wireless. Music phones, music features, live out loud.
Back in Montreal, where the Argonauts have moved into first place, all they have to do is beat either Ottawa or Hamilton in their remaining games, and they will host the Eastern Final. Time for the Warrior of the Game, brought to you by the folks at Rona. And it is quarterback Damon Allen of the Toronto Argonauts, 32 for 40 in passing, 411 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And I'll tell you what, Darren Flutie, he goes a long way today to making a real case for being the most valuable player in the Eastern Conference.
Warrior of the Game, brought to you by Rona, the how-to people, proudly Canadian.
What are you looking at me like that for? So some quick thoughts on this game.
Well, just like I said pregame, Damon Allen is hands down the most outstanding player in this league. Maybe Eric said it, I'm not sure. Hey, Jeff Johnson, 3rd string running back? I think not. I think teams have to worry about Jeff Johnson. Damon Duval, he's got to get in the gym, Brian.
Oh, and Darren, I started the show by saying that offense can sell you tickets, but defense wins you championships, and this game was going to prove that point. And Toronto really made a case that that statement is true. They took Anthony Cavill and made him look like a very average quarterback tonight.
Great point about the defense, and offensively, Toronto was just outstanding. Give total credit to Damon Allen, to Ken Austin for a game plan, but I want to mention a guy that often is under the radar screen, Ken Miller, the offensive line coach. They stoned them up front. They protected Damon tonight. You rarely mention offensive linemen except when they struggle. Well, tonight they played a terrific football game, and I think Ken Miller deserves acknowledgement of that group because they impacted this win.
You rarely mention offensive linemen. Chris Walby does it all the time. There's no question, though, that Damon Allen did not face a lot of pressure. Jeff Johnson, he's from York University. Yes, indeed, a Canadian can play tailback.